Basketball. Basketball. Basketball.
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-ball. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say
Basketball. Basketball. Basketball.
basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry Hope. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
Yes, we did it, everybody. It's Friday. We made it. Come on, a round of applause
All
for
right,
making
how
it
about
to Friday.
Hey. What a week, huh?
We did it. The weekend starts in a few hours. Everybody knows when we get done here on a Friday, everybody's weekend starts. Let's say hello to Dave Damashek, who we missed last week. Dave is back. Hello, Dave.
Hello, I am already drunk to start the weekend, and I have already departed the planet Earth, much like the astronauts looking down at the big blue marble. I, too, am up on cloud nine, beyond the astronauts. Thanks to number 87 and company in black and gold, the Pittsburgh Penguins are back in the playoffs. I know our world is fraught, but it has been a great journey with these Penguins into these playoffs.
All right, we'll let you have your fun. We're not starting with the Penguins, okay? We'll let you have your fun.
I just did. Too late.
We'll let you have your fun with the Penguins. But since Dave wasn't here last Friday, I was away on vacation last week. I came back on Friday. I did the Friday show, which is kind of weird. Like you would admit the people who go on vacation, then come back to work for Friday, and then you have the weekends. Like what are you doing? That is kind of weird, you know? And I pulled that move last week. But the reason that I pulled that move last week, Dave is very confused with my vacation ending early last week. This is something that I guess has been bothering you for a week because we haven't spoken to you.
Yes, by the way, that leads neatly to a promotion for Football America coming up as soon as this show is done. Football America goes, and our guest, Jonathan Zaslow, we figure out the greatest and worst first overall pick in NFL and in sports history. It's a fun conversation. Looking forward to that. But in the meantime, yes, Zaz, very strange. That seemed to me, that hit me like, oh, yeah, Zaz came back early from vacation. I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. People actually do that? Because it's something I feel like I hear about in TV shows and movies. I didn't know real human beings actually pulled the plug on a vacation. It's kind of like leaving a movie early. People use that as a point of reference. I thought it was a figurative thing, but people actually leave vacations and the movies early.
Well,
weird.
The first thing that I would say is, have you never been on a vacation where, like, let's say it's a long vacation, okay? 7 days, like at least a week. You've never been on vacation, Dave, where you're like, I'm ready to go home. Like, I get like that with every vacation. Now, I don't leave every vacation early, all right? But I get that with every vacation where I'm like, it'll get to like day 5 or 6, and I'm like, I'm ready to go home. I like being at home. That doesn't happen to you?
I like being at home. There we park our cars in the same garage of our home, I guess. But no, I can't say that I've ever had the feeling of like, yeah, let's wrap this thing up. let's wrap up the leisure time in the fun and sun. Let's get out of here already. Enough.
I've probably been on a vacation of 7 days where day 5 or 6, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go home. But I'm not going to leave. I'm still going to stick it out. Like, I might have the thought of, okay, I am ready to go home, but I'm never going to punt early.
It's a super boomer thing to do. Like, let's just leave. We're going to leave to go home. What's at home?
Well, what?
You live at home.
Okay,
what
but like,
to do?
but if I'm ready to go home, why don't I go home?
Did you not pay for the last day?
Well, on this trip I didn't. I stayed in a friend's house. She gave us her townhouse in Colorado, so it's not like I lost
But if
money
you pay
there.
for something, I mean, I'm not going to not get it. Right. Like, I'm coming home with something.
Well, I did this, you guys may recall, all right, very famously, a year ago this time. I rented a cabin in North Carolina. The Florida Panthers lost game 1 of the Stanley Cup final, and I put the Zaslows in the car the next morning. I said, it's time to drive home because my team needs me. We got to get home for game number 2.
Your wife must hate you.
And what do you know? The Panthers, not only did they win game 2, but they won the series. Matter of fact, Paul Maurice, you guys may remember a few months ago, he thanked me for my service, all right? I had to do my part, and I ended that vacation early, Dave Damashek, as well.
I think this is weirdo behavior, though. And by the way, so you're so ready to leave that you're willing to take active measures like changing your flight. That's not a small thing. That's a pain in the ass. You actually devoted 20 minutes, 45 minutes. Like, let's wrap this up. And part of the time that's left in this vacation that I'm trying to truncate will be devoted to me changing on the laptop or on the phone, changing our flight plans. That's weirdo behavior.
Well, last year was easier because we drove to and from North Carolina. So it's like we packed the car the next morning. It's time to go home. The Panthers need us. But last week, I said to my wife the day before we ended up leaving, I was like, you want to see if we can get on the flight out tomorrow and just go home? Like, we're ready, right?
It seems like this is just your thing. Like, your wife probably knows, all right, we're going to plan for 8 days.
No, she was ready too.
Zaz is going to do that thing after 6, and so we're going to...
Does your wife call you Zaz?
No, she doesn't call me Zaz.
Call you John?
No, she doesn't call me John either because that's not my name.
Schmuckum?
All right? Yes, I didn't think you were going to guess it, but you did on the third try. You got it. Schmuckum. You were right. You got it. That's what she called me.
Well, what does she call? Does she call you Jonathan?
She calls me Babe.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's right, dog. That's right. That's how we roll.
And you go Babe back?
Yeah. So, if we both say it at the same time.
Not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of that out in the wild. Hey, check this out, Babe. What are you looking at there, Babe? That's
No. We don't do that. We don't do it like out in public. I say her name in public, shouting across the room. Hey, babe! Like, no. There could be multiple babes in the room if that's the case. I don't know what
By
you
the way,
call your significant other.
the kids are cool with the plug being pulled on vacations all the time. They must think their old man's a wacko.
He doesn't even bring his kids.
Better not settle in here.
One of his kids didn't even go on the last
Well, on this vacation last week, we left one of them home. That is true.
What the hell goes on?
He's 17 years old. He's a big boy. If he wanted to stay back instead of coming, stay back, playa. So we left him home. Yes, that is true. But apparently I'm the only one.
50-50 chance the old man's going to want to come home early anyway. Why are you even bothered?
That's right.
Well, man, this Zaslo's a weird fella.
I think if there's nothing else that we've learned, it's that I run the show. When I'm ready to go home, it's time to go home. All right?
You tell him, babe.
So the Miami Heat last night got crushed in Toronto. Who didn't see that coming?
Brandon Ingram kills this team, huh?
The Heat they lost both these last 2 games, home and home with Toronto. Tuesday, Thursday, that's a home and home. Both games were in Toronto. They're home. That's a home and home.
Is that on a baseball series?
They lost both games in Toronto, which means they were swept all 4 games this season by Toronto, which also means 2 teams who are like right above them in the playoff race. The Heat are 10th, and we'll get to that in a second, how they're most likely locked into 10th, and they're going to have to win 2 road games just against the playoffs, which they will not do because they're a terrible road team. But the Heat this year against Toronto and Orlando are 0-9. What the fuck?
That's not cream of the crop exactly in the East. That's not the teams that you thought, that Heat fans mostly thought they'd be competing with.
I mean, teams that are 5th and 7th in the East. The Heat are not the teams that are 1st and 2nd. The teams that are 5th and 7th are 0-9.
Yeah, it's a disastrous season. It was a disastrous evaluation at the trade deadline to think that they had enough to not either capitulate or add to this team, to think that the way that the roster was constituted following their failed pursuit of Giannis was good enough to help their chances in the offseason to acquire a star like Giannis. I don't – look, it's been misguided. It's been misguided for years. I'm not going to be a broken record about it. We move on to the offseason hopefully here, and, maybe it works out for them this time.
Not only that, you're looking at the teams ahead of the Miami Heat. Charlotte and 9. Do you have any faith that the Heat would beat the Charlotte Hornets right now?
On the road? No.
It's not even just like, how do I like my chances this season? You look at the teams ahead of you, and they have nicer pieces. You'd rather be them. And this is a franchise that always hung its hat on not only being able to compete, but also having foresight. And
they've shown no foresight the last couple of years.
And that's what I'm talking about.
And they're not competing.
And looking in the teams directly ahead of you this season, it's like going towards the future. You like the Hornets pieces really, really well. You like the 76ers. You like what they've got. The Magic.
I don't know.
You like
they're a disaster.
Edgecombe and Maxey?
At least they have Maxey. Well, you could point to Miami.
Edgecombe is really good.
Okay, but I
Miami's
guess
got Bam.
I guess the place that I'm looking is they're never going to win anything with Joel Embiid on the books. And he's not going anywhere because he's under contract for 4 more years. And by the way, he just had surgery for an appendicitis, so he's going to miss the remainder of the season. They're completely screwed. Go ahead.
Magic pieces, I like Banchero better. Franz Wagner, I like him better. The Hawks, I like all their pieces better. And the Raptors, just put a steamroller to the Miami Heat.
Well, so that brings me to the next question, where the Heat are going to pursue Giannis again. This summer.
By the way, Brandon Ingram, another one of those not so sexy names that were rumored to have the Heat in the mix for, that the Heat just
right. Like,
didn't
what did
win.
Toronto give up for Brandon Ingram? What did they have to give up?
It wasn't much, and everyone likes to remember the Donovan Mitchells, the Kevin Durant pursuits, all the failed whale pursuits, but. There have also been little small pieces like Pascal Siakam,
right.
OG Anunoby, Brandon Ingram, guys that have made a difference that Miami has also failed to either pursue or decided that's not worth it. We're either aiming higher or we don't think that this person can help our team.
Last year they traded Brandon Ingram for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a 26 first-rounder via Indy, and a 2031 second-round pick.
Yeah.
And then he got an extension, 3 years, $120 million.
So that's a perfect example of why couldn't we do that? Perfect. And Siakam's another great one. Like, what? That's all you give? Why couldn't we do that?
And the theory is we didn't want to do that because we were aiming higher.
Well, you always have that flexibility, even though they never do anything with the flexibility.
You think Toronto, who just beat up on the Miami Heat back-to-back games, are like, man, this Brandon Ingram trade really hurt our flexibility.
Like, no one else seems to care about flexibility the way the Heat care about flexibility, and the Heat never do anything with it.
And they somehow don't have the assets that the teams they're competing against have. You know why? Because when they develop these talents, they get something for them in seasons that they realize that they don't have a shot at a title for. So, again, we're in broken record territory. This is not one of those things that I love being right about. I'm a Miami Heat fan, and I want the Miami Heat to finally cash in their chips and get back to relevancy. This has been an abysmal 3 years for me because Miami Heat are the worst thing you can be in that sport. Not a threat in the playoffs and not a lottery team. Let's just move on and hope it works out.
Is this, may I ask as an outsider here, is Babe Zaslow, is the state of Miami sports overall so bad that he would consider walking out on it right now?
No!
This might be, this is the worst. I mean, I'm off the top of my head. This is a pretty bleak spot that you are in if you're a Miami sports fan.
I know
right?
you're feeling yourself because your Pens made the playoffs, but the Panthers are going to be right in the mix with the title favorites next year.
They're not in the playoffs.
The Miami Marlins.
The playoffs. Everybody makes the playoffs in the NBA and the NHL, and your two teams aren't in them. The Dolphins, right now, as we sit here in April, are out of it. They are
Yes.
not in contention.
We'll
They
give
have
you the
announced
Dolphins.
They're not in contention.
We'll give you the Dolphins.
What are the
Marlins are
Okay.
feisty.
Tied for
Well,
first
the
place.
Panthers
Fighting
and
fish.
the-
Way
You're
to fight back
you're
and
talking-
split a 4-game series, Marlins.
Yeah. You should
go,
know.
look, I like it. See,
Hey,
I backed you into a corner, and look who's ready to fight. now.
Yeah,
You
over
just
the last
2 seconds
100
ago,
games, Dave
you were
Damashek,
just
the
talking
Miami
about the
Marlins.
broken record.
Stop trying to alpha me. Look at me, Dave. Stop trying to alpha me. Over the last 100 games, the Miami Marlins have the same record as the world champion Dodgers. Them fighting fish, they might be for real. And if you don't think it's a
That's
good
what you
time,
have?
if you don't think it's a good time to be a sports fan in Miami, why don't I come and grab you and take you by the neck to Green Tree so you can see the title favorite Miami Hurricanes and see a superstar like Malachi Tony.
You know about that green tree?
And also, Lionel Messi plays in this town. Lionel Messi plays in this town.
All right, good for you. See, this is you were getting down in the dumps, all of you in there. We're all broken record. The Heat, I'm getting tired. Oh, flexibility. They never do it. Then an outsider, an interloper comes in and insults you. All of a sudden, you found your salt. I loved it. See, look, Damashek served a purpose there.
The Panthers
See,
lost.
I reminded you who you were.
The Panthers lost last night too, 5-1 in Ottawa. But I'm gonna miss watching the Panthers in the postseason this year because the Panthers had made the postseason a franchise record 5 consecutive years. I don't count 2020 when they let 12 teams in because of COVID. That's bullshit because they wouldn't have made the playoffs if they didn't do that. So 5 straight years, franchise record, they made the playoffs, 3 straight Stanley Cup finals, and they become like the first team ever to win back-to-back championships and not make the postseason the next. Although, certainly in the NBA, that happened with the Bulls. So this is the first time that it's ever happened with hockey, I guess. Yes, Dave?
Will you or anyone in South Florida watch the Stanley Cup playoffs without your team?
Oh,
because
stop it.
Kachuk. Oh, don't say so. I'm legitimately, Kachuk and Captain America and all that kind of stuff all sounds great, but do you check out now that the Panthers aren't relevant in this spring in the chase for the Cup?
You're talking to the wrong crew.
I'm glad that you asked that, Dave, because
I don't know if you are.
Tony didn't watch it all when they were winning.
Exactly
number
right,
one.
Dave. I haven't seen a second of ice hockey.
nothing changes.
And the rest of us, we love puck, especially playoff puck.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Dave, because yesterday, I don't know why Dan said this yesterday. Like, Dan made a point to look and point at me and make the point that with the Panthers not in the playoffs this year, I'm not going to be watching the Stanley Cup play. I don't know. Like, I didn't push back because he was in the middle of a point. It's like whatever. But I don't know why he accused me of that.
It's
yesterday.
the best postseason in sports.
Do you remember that, Roy? Like
Yes,
he
he
said,
absolutely
he said,
did.
I know Zaslow's not going to be watching now because I'm like, what?
Bandwagon
What?
talking
fan.
about?
Bandwagon fan.
He's used to pointing in that direction and just saying something like that.
Oh yeah.
You were wearing an ill-fitting Panthers shirt at the time.
How dare you? So back to the Heat.
So
all
it's in
right.
your body.
This summer, they're certainly going to go after Giannis again. And did you see, by the way, tonight's the Bucks. So tonight's the Milwaukee Bucks home finale. Everybody in the NBA plays tonight, and then everybody plays on Sunday. 2 games left for everybody, and then the playoffs start. The Bucks home finale is tonight, and there was thought that because of what could take place in the summer, are the Bucks going to let Giannis play? Because he wants to play, apparently, and he wants to play with his brothers. So maybe just kind of as a goodwill deal, they'll let him play tonight. Well, they've already ruled him out. So he's not playing tonight. And he's going to go into the offseason sour. He didn't get to play with his brothers. The Heat are certainly going to go after Giannis again this summer. What happens if/when the Heat don't acquire Giannis again this summer? Because last year, they lost in historic fashion in the first round, an embarrassment in the first round of the playoffs last year, vowed to come back better. They come back worse. They're going to finish 10th. They're most likely going to miss the playoffs altogether. If they strike out on Giannis this summer, how can you possibly rationalize bringing back the same group?
So if they strike out on Giannis, is Giannis a catch-all for a superstar that is either as good or better than Bam Adebayo? or do they miss out on that entirely?
What does that mean, a catch-all?
Like a superstar,
Like
because
somebody who's a
could
superstar
be
not named
there could be
Giannis.
somebody else available that's not Giannis that comes to the Miami Heat that improves them. Like, I'm not all in on Giannis.
But it has to be someone better than Bam.
Yeah, well, someone as good or better than Bam. In terms of improving this team's prospects, if they fail to do that, then I think you take a hard look at rebuilding, because we have 3 years worth of data saying that this core is not good enough. Something's not going to all of a sudden flip on with this team. I don't think there's any more steps for Tyler Hero to take, respectfully. Maybe you have some of your developmental guys, but is that enough to compete with even like the Orlandos of the world? At that point, the franchise, for really like the first time ever going into a season, because when they had the number 2 pick, Zaz, when they ended up with Michael Beasley, that team had Dwayne Wade on it. That was not the plan for them to be bad that year. I think there's a real good chance that it's the first season the Miami Heat finally look at themselves and say, you know, we're not going to be competing for a title this year. How do we set ourselves up? That would be pretty shocking.
So a rebuilding year after a great historic draft of this season, you're going to go to next season where there's not going to be a historic draft and try to rebuild.
I know.
Like
I know.
that was the play this year instead of going 42 and 40, or what are they going to go, 41 and 40, 41
They're
basically?
41 and 39 right now.
Like
they're probably going to win their final 2 games. Like they're going to win 43 games. Tonight they have Washington, and then Sunday they have Atlanta. Although Atlanta likely is going to need that game on Sunday, because Atlanta could still drop to 7, which you want to avoid. So they'll win at least 40 games, it looks like. 42, which is
it'll be 42 and 40 at the beginning of the season. We look at 42 and 40, we'd be like, yeah, not good enough, obviously, but not worth exactly what's going on. Is keeping all these guys together, not making a move at the deadline, not trying to move these expiring contracts.
Well, and we could agree the worst case scenario is if not only do the Heat not acquire Giannis in the summer, but if Milwaukee doesn't trade him, because then this story continues into next year, right? Like if the Heat are not going to acquire Giannis, the Heat fan really needs Milwaukee to trade him somewhere else then, right?
Yeah, because then you're looking at the same story at the deadline next season, and we're all like, oh, come on, like this could be it. He could finally show up here in the Heat, and it's just not going to happen.
Yes. That's the worst thing that can possibly happen. And by the way...
Well, but also, don't you also think, just from the outside perspective, Giannis is 31 years of age. Are you sure that this is the solve to all your issues?
It's a good question. He's going to have played...
If you get him, I know there will be a great celebration and star power and all of that, but what does it add up to for you?
Totally fair question. Totally fair question. He's played less than 40 games this year, and he's going to be 32 soon. And by the way, based on the last couple of years, I think it's okay to question whether or not Giannis can carry a team, because they have not been good with him in the lineup. And matter of fact, I think in his, because he's been hurt some in the playoffs the last years, there's something like 1-9 in the last 10 playoff games that he's played in. And I think it's a little bit of what you're referring to, Mike.
Zaz, from that recent article, we know that the Miami Heat had the strongest offer amongst the teams that were pursuing Giannis. They do deserve some credit for that. They were willing to do something that hurt, but part of that was we have Bam now. We have this team now. The postseason just a couple months away. Giannis is of a certain age. This is to seize on this moment. Who's to say that Milwaukee can fetch the same kind of offer? Would Miami even offer the same kind of thing? Or does the desperation finally get to them that, there's self-awareness, realizing we're presently a nowhere franchise right now. Same offer, maybe even improve it.
The Heat are almost assured the number 10 spot, which would mean you have to, after losing last night, which would mean you have to win 2 road games to make the postseason. And I say that because the only way out of the 10 spot for Miami, the Heat would have to win their final 2 games, which includes tonight at Washington. Okay, they should. And Sunday against Atlanta. And a game Atlanta's likely going to need, that's going to be a very tough game. The Heat would have to win both those games, and they would need the Sixers to lose their final 2. The Sixers have Indiana and Milwaukee, 2 teams that are not trying, but again, you got the Embiid situation, so I don't know. My guess is the Sixers probably win at least one of those games. And the Hornets would have to lose their final 2 games as well. They play Detroit and New York. Detroit, I would assume, is sitting guys tonight because they're locked into number 1. But New York likely has something to play for on Sunday. So that's why I say it's almost for sure that the Heat are going to finish number 10 and have to win 2 road games to make the postseason. Really, really disappointing. So, this weekend, though, tomorrow night, Tony, UFC, Miami.
Zaz, me and you will be in the building. Lewis will be there too. We'll be doing a little bit of content from the fights. Very exciting. Your son's going to get you there early, I heard.
So Mike, I'm a super casual UFC fan. Like, really, really casual. My son loves it. He's 17. He's way into it, Dave. Loves UFC, knows all the fighters, watches every single week, orders every single, pay-per-view, whatever it is. All
now
right?
on Paramount, we don't have to order anything.
Right.
You
That's
turn
a
it
good
on
deal.
and bam, it's there.
That's a good deal. So we're going. I got set up with the tickets, and I'm super appreciative of that. We're going tomorrow night. But my son, so apparently with the new deal with Paramount, they're doing a solid to us folks on the East Coast.
They really are.
The main card starts at 9 Eastern time, also known as Lord's Time Zone. Starts at 9 p.m. now, not 10. That's a big difference, okay?
It is
That's
helpful.
a big difference. But my son, he's like, we got to get there for the prelims.
He's right.
He wants to leave the house at 5 p.m. I mean,
It's a long day at the fights. No doubt.
that's a very long night for your boy here.
Yeah, but Zaz, what, you're going to miss Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque? You can't do that.
Gastelum's on the prelims?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
This is what happens when you have irrelevant NBA and NHL teams. You're left to watch men in bare feet sweat on each other.
Hey.
Blade.
What are you on about? What are you on about?
Don't sell us short, Dave. We can be bandwagon about the UFC too. Where this was consistently a good market for the last few years for the UFC. They're having a hard time selling these tickets.
Oh, it's not going to be a great crowd?
There's plenty of tickets still available, which is why in this market, I saw Dana doing some local media stuff. Yuri's been in town for basically a month, hitting up every media outlet. The ticket situation, and I got to admit, I love Yuri. I think he's a great UFC fighter, but he's known, if you follow the UFC. Casual fans, I'm not sure, are all that familiar. The UFC cards in years prior down here in Miami were always
Bad.
no.
Top tier.
Since they came back.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, when they
Since came
first
back.
started doing
yeah,
shows
yeah,
here
this was a
years
market that
ago.
they avoided.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, they came back here and struck gold, and they had great cards. This is easily the weakest card the UFC
Is that
has
true,
had down
Tony?
here.
100%. Two years ago, we had Izzy get his lick back against Alex Pereira after he knocked him out over in New York, which was insane. So that was a great one. Then last year we had Sugar Sean versus Cheeto Vera, where Sean hit him with a knee to the orbital bone that sounded like a cracked bat.
Was that the night that Patty Pimblett also fought here?
That was, I think so. I think so on that same
I
card.
went to that, okay.
The issue with this one is there is flux in a couple different divisions, light heavyweight being one of them, where Alex Pereira, who's notorious, probably the biggest star in MMA right now, that was his division. He's since moved up to the heavyweight division, trying to get the 3-weight belt, like I said on Monday with Luke Thomas. Now that he's in the heavyweight division, there's a vacuum at the light heavyweight. They brought in Yuri Prohaska. He's going to be fighting Carlos Olberg. When you talk about Yuri being casuals not knowing Yuri, I think casuals know Yuri more so because of stuff on social media.
He does
the
look
hijinks,
yeah,
the
when he
things
had
that
the top
he does.
when he had the top ponytail.
Dave,
he did
you know
look
that
kinda
fool?
nuts.
No, I know nothing about it.
Don't bring up Dave Damashek as a bare feet Dave Damashek down there. No, who cares about him? He's got bare feet on right now. He doesn't even have socks and shoes on right now at his home.
Grown men are just tangled up with each other, sweating on each other, not even a sock to split between two of them.
sock?
Fat
What do you
and
want
double
about?
fat. I'd rather watch the golf. How about that?
I bet
don't
you
know if
would.
this is
That's
a
not what we're talking about
generational
right
thing.
now.
You guys are in Florida. You're not talking about the Masters.
I don't care about the Masters.
signature event?
Yuri Prohaska's looking for a light heavyweight title. What are you talking about? The issue was, Zaz, also that the flyweight title was removed from the card. So there was supposed to be a flyweight title attached to this, which would have been the co-main event. Joshua Van got hurt. They moved that over to next month with Hamza Chimaev versus Sean Strickland, which is going to be a banger up at the Prudential Center in Jersey. So with all that, now you're looking at, even though there's some good fights on this card, you lack the top heaviness of a UFC card that would have, like Miami, would have 2 titles on the line. But you're talking about Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi Godinez. Good fight. Mateusz Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovic. Good fight. Then you get into the main card. You got Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown, Rude Boy. But I wanted to see if you saw this, and this would draw you in, Zaz.
Go on.
Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer, who's fought 30,000 times in the last 3 years. He's one of the UFC's most active fighters. He's a guy that's on social media 24/7, a very good talker, very good promoter. This is what I want you to see. He fought a guy named Daniel Rodriguez, who has been in a Tijuana prison for the last 8 months, and he bailed him out. Listen to this.
What?
I know there's one you want to get back, and I know there's a guy that's been missing recently. He recently posted on social media, so D-Rod is back. I don't know if he's fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know what that scenario is, but he seems to be around.
I bailed him out, man. I bailed him out. I needed to get this dub right here, and then I needed to fight D-Rod, so I had to bail him out. That way he can get through all his probation period, and then when it's time for me to fight again, he'll be ready.
So we get through Randy Brown, it's immediate D-Rod call-out in the octagon.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, I went back and watched that fight. I don't know how the fuck I lost that, but yeah, run that back 2 or 3 more times. I don't care. It was a fun fight too. The fans had a blast. We had blood in the octagon. We had knockdowns. We had all the good stuff.
I don't believe him.
So my question to you, do you believe him? He's been in a Tijuana prison for 8 months. He's shown the videos of him working out in a Tijuana prison, and basically everything.
And this fight's tomorrow.
No. So he's fighting Randy Rude Boy Brown, and then he bailed him out so that he can get ready for the fight that would be next. So if Kevin Holland beats Randy Brown, he's going to call out Daniel Rodriguez.
So
who
do
he
I
bailed out of prison.
believe that he bailed him out?
Out of a Tijuana prison that he's been in for the last 8 months?
Do we have any idea what bail is like in Tijuana?
I feel like you can do it pretty easily.
Yeah, that's why. That's my point. So I'm going to go yes.
$200?
Yeah, so I'm going to say yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, can
All
you
right,
imagine?
maybe this is enough to turn me around. on this
All
stuff.
right, Dave
We're
Damashek.
talking about De Niro
Right?
and Cape Fear getting sprung to get into the octagon. Now I'm in.
Right?
So
I love
he's
it.
there. He's there, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to bail you out so you have enough time to get a fight camp in, because he beat him earlier this year. So he's going to try to get that lick back on the back end here. But Zaz, have you ever wanted something so bad that you'd bail somebody out to go kick their ass later on?
No, like I don't. I've never faced a situation like that where someone I need something from needs to be bailed out of jail. I don't know what
To
that
go kick
says
his
Speaking
ass.
of bail,
about me,
how
but-
about can I? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tony. I don't know how you perform. Credit to you. Talk about bailing. Mike Ryan can't even be bothered to listen to you. He's texting while you're talking.
That's fine, but he's locked in on UFC.
Masters Week, Dano.
He's locked in on UFC. He knows the players. He knows the game.
I mean, I got to
All
see
right,
what the
well,
Miz
you-
thinks about McIntyre's first round, but
Kevin Hart and the Miz are putting their heads together to figure out who's going to be in contention on the back nine of them on Sunday.
Second 9.
we were so careful because we've played golf with the Miz in Tahoe. We like the Miz
Miz is
around
great.
these parts, but the
Very
Miz
nice guy, yeah.
was absolutely held up by the rest of the nation as the cause of this is what's wrong with the Masters coverage, and I felt so bad for him because he was just one of many different celebrities they brought through. But I guess the Miz was the tipping point
And
for many folks.
And he's a golf guy, so in his mind, he's like, I'll go to the Masters. This will be awesome. And then he gets there, and everyone's like, what the hell?
Well, he's like the designated guy in WWE because we know ESPN, WWE, they have the relationship, and they're certainly trying to push the ESPN app, and WWE WrestleMania's next weekend. Miz is the guy who does all of the promotion. Like, I had him on set with me for the national championship for ESPN Radio. He does all of this stuff for WWE. He's a great ambassador. But yeah, you're right. Like, it seemed like the Miz.
all the articles, if you Google search The Miz right now, it's
Yeah.
golfers up in arms that
Right.
they had to watch The Miz instead of, Novak on the third hole.
Yeah,
No,
that's
they're-
not
they're-
fair.
Well, and also Jason Kelsey, too. Don't leave him out of this conversation. It's all added up to, like, hey, the executives have ceded any sort of actual creative input to just who are the most famous people we can put on location and point the camera at. That's basically where we've arrived. And there are 29 names in total that will satisfy the executives, and apparently Jason Kelsey and Kevin Hart, and now the Miz makes that group. It's a couple dozen people that are relevant, and if they aren't there, it doesn't matter.
Dave had such a funny tweet yesterday, and every time I look at it, it makes me laugh.
What did he say?
All right, I'll allow it. Dave responded yesterday. There's this tweet that was out there with a picture of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, and it says Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, by the way, who seems like an evil woman. Anyway, Will Smith and
damn.
Whatever.
Yeah, Will Smith seems great.
I'm with you.
Yeah, Will Smith seems great.
Whatever. The tweet says, and it's a picture of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, and it says Will Smith and Jada Pinkett are reportedly getting a divorce. And Dave Dameshek quote tweets it, why?
It was very funny. He had to be there. I like Mike Ryan's response better, though. Will Smith seems great.
Every time I look at it, it makes me laugh.
Had his head on straight. Seems like he's a real nice guy.
Don't you have to defend your fellow bald in Jada Pinkett there, Zaz?
See, that's going to get you in
Come on,
trouble.
man.
That's what got Chris Rock
Zaz
in
has
trouble.
alopecia.
That's going to get you in trouble.
Keep his ex-wife name out your mouth.
Keep
That's
my
right.
fill-in host name out your mouth, Dave Dameshek.
That's right. Don't do that, Dave. That's going to get you in
Sorry,
a lot
babes.
of trouble. Is the president going to be here tomorrow night? Do I have to worry about that traffic-wise, Tony?
To be honest, like he's been at a bunch of UFC fights. And
He was
a
at
bunch of Miami
last
fights.
time when I went.
I-
Yeah.
I don't
Security's the same. It's not a
Yeah,
big
I think
deal.
you saw the card. He's like, "No, I'm not going to this one."
But you think he's going to be there, right, Tony?
He usually shows up. Like
There's nothing else going on.
nothing else going on, but it's usually like right during the start of the main card where they switch over, they start playing the music, they start doing the highlights, and he'll walk in like later on.
Guys, I know we're making a joke, but there is absolutely something going on. It's moving day at the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to be dialed.
Well, but the thing is, the Masters is going to be done by then.
No, it's
At 9 o'clock?
for the prelims.
At 9 o'clock?
He
doesn't show. He does not
Prelims
show
will
up
be
for the
going on.
prelims, guys. He
Little
does not show up for the
Doubleheader?
prelims.
Little doubleheader.
He
for-
shows up like
Trust me.
after the first fight of
Trust
the main
me,
card.
if he were going, they would have said it by now because they could have used the bump.
If the president wanted to show up at the Masters, can he do that?
Yeah.
I would assume.
Like he's the president, so he could do
Yeah,
that.
he could sign an
I saw
executive order.
DeSantis was there yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't announced.
That's
but
a
Chris
great
spotted-
I
question.
saw him in the back.
Chris is such a huge fan. He spotted him in the gallery.
In the
He's like,
gallery.
Ron,
I'm like,
Ron.
that's DeSantis.
Are you sure it's DeSantis or somebody that looks like DeSantis?
I'll look it up. I bet you he was spotted.
He
there.
looked at the booth.
Chris has his travel itinerary.
I bet
I'm interested in Babe's question there. Could the president actually show up at the Masters? I don't know because you
Yes.
really do have to clear out. I mean,
Yeah.
Are you a fool? Pat McAfee complained about it openly and then was at the Masters 48 hours later. I think the president has more juice.
no, I'm not saying that. I know he could call shots, but wouldn't they really have to fundamentally just clear out entire? I mean, like there wouldn't be able to be the people around an entire hole, right?
He
You
did.
would just have to vacate.
He did 15 laps at the Daytona International Speedway and goes to every football game in the South. They'll be fine.
Be great if it's the Masters. The president wants to go. They have to clear the whole area out, and it's just the president watching each hole. Just standing there. He's the only one in the crowd.
Hello, everybody. Today I'm gonna be in Applebee's, not in the usual Applebee's, in Applebee's in Guatemala for Mystery Crate. And I'm gonna show you how beautiful it is in the landscape and some McDonald's things that Tony doesn't believe it's very great, right, guys?
Whoa, I don't believe it's very great. I didn't say that. I just didn't know what it was.
It's a great mystery crate. Rose takes us around Guatemala City. We have an old story from Zaz. It's just a great time.
We do logo tiers in the NBA
talk
early 90s.
Masters menus.
Ooh, yeah.
Champions dinner.
Larry Bird wedding cakes.
So much good stuff. Rose, bring us home.
Go home.
Okay.
That
Back to you,
works.
Dan.
Obama's library, too.
And Chris Sports again.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Turn my mic
Bye,
off.
Rose. Good job.
Enjoy. Mike, turn my mic off, please.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
you because I have admired your work. You are just such a sculptor. You're an artist as a comedian. It's sort of the
Why, thank you.
Well, the craft of it. It's such a hard way to make a living, Jay. I don't even understand how you make a living that way. I really don't. You have to be demented to choose, you know what? I'm going to laugh my way to the top. I'm going to take the expectation of funny, and that's how I'm going to get rich. Get out of here. It's crazy.
It seems sort of second nature to me. You know, I think it's one of those things is if it's what you like to do, it just comes. You know, I remember when I was in college, I'm dyslexic, so I would get out of any sort of written things, and I was taking speech therapy. And I remember the professor said, now at the end of the class, each student will have to give a 20-minute talk. And people went, 20 minutes? Oh my God, I get done. I thought, I'll do it right now. I'll talk for 20 minutes. Yeah, let's do this. You know? So it just struck me as funny.
But you could be funny in an instant? You knew that this was something?
No, not funny. I had to give a 20-minute talk. I mean, I didn't have routine. I wasn't a comedian yet, but it just seemed natural. I mean, I always read that getting eaten by a shark and public speaking are the two things most people are afraid of, you know, that kind of stuff.
But not you, right? Like that, you didn't need attention, right? An audience just didn't scare you, right? Even though you were dyslexic, even though...
No, it didn't scare me. It didn't scare, you know what's interesting? A lot of people don't realize, you remember the Smothers Brothers, right?
Yes.
Well, Tommy Smothers was dyslexic, and they were folk singers, but Tommy would get the songs wrong. Michael, boat the row ashore. No, it's row the what? And they made it part of their act, and that's kind of how they became a sort of funny comedy singing team, you know.
How do you watch stand-up comics? Because I imagine you are watching not just to laugh, but to see where the comic's insecure, where the comic looks off stage or looks at his feet. I imagine.
No, not really. I watch it just to enjoy it. You know, I like comedy. I enjoy watching comedians. You have to be careful when you're a comedian because someone does a joke and then you realize you never want to be on stage and that subject comes up and your mind immediately goes to that person. So you have to be careful not to try and take somebody else's material. You know, that's sort of the biggest trick. A lot of times you don't want to watch comedians do routine on a particular subject because if you're developing something along the same line, oh, now you can't do yours because it's too close to theirs or whatever it might be. But no, I watch it. You know, it's like I like to make love, but I don't want to be a gynecologist. You know what I mean? So I enjoy it just being, you know, just being around it and being with comics. It's always fun.
You came up through the pipeline of where stand-up comedy was born, right? Like, I mean, you're almost at the roots, Jay. I mean, I don't know if it's Pryor and Carlin, but coming up through the LA comedy circuit, coming up through the comedians when you
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings. The crown is yours.
It's a record.
Seconds.
It's a record.
Incredible composure.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
We cracked back here. We got to be better next time. Yeah, that's on us.
So I wouldn't normally reference something from Draymond Green's show, Draymond Green's podcast. And yes, Draymond Green, of course, has a podcast because if you don't have a podcast, you're a huge loser. Everybody's got a podcast. And Draymond Green had Anthony Davis on his podcast recently. And among, you know, other things like talking about when he found out he was traded and how all of that went down. I thought maybe the most interesting thing that I heard from Anthony Davis that came from that was Anthony Davis talking about how winning the championship in the bubble, he's not even sure. Like, you hear people say, oh, it doesn't count. It's not a real championship. You've never heard one of the players who were on the Lakers say that until now.
About that, right? Like, man, did I really win a championship? And you hear the noise, which to me is probably the hardest championship to ever you know, accomplish. But for me, I also feel like I know I'm a champion, but I want the real experience, right? So which is why it's like I want to compete so bad. I want to compete for a championship so bad because I want to go on the road. I want to go into, you know, now I'm Eastern Conference, now Western Conference team, arena, and got to win on the road. I want that. I remember the playoff times in New Orleans and after COVID, the playoff environments in LA where, we played y'all in New Orleans and it's all red in there and the crowd is loud and they cheering for you and everything like that. So like, I want that. And I've never had a chance to experience that in a final situation. Right. And for me, it's like, damn, did I win? Did I not win? Like, I know I'm listed as a champion, but it's like, I'm not sure. So it motivates me more now to like, you know what? I gotta have that opportunity again.
By the way, the Heat face Anthony Davis and the Wizards tonight. I've never heard a player reference that champion, a player who's on the Lakers,
A player who was awesome.
Yeah,
that entire postseason.
Oh, they don't, especially in the finals.
In the finals, he was incredible.
Yeah, I've never heard a player on that Laker team talk like that. That's pretty. Like he's doubting if he's even a real champion.
It had to be weird. It has to be weird.
It definitely, listen, it appreciation during the COVID run there that we had the distraction and that they went forward with the playoffs and in hockey as well as basketball it counts for half. It is meaningful. It is listed on the resume, but let's not jive ourselves. Let's not jive the men in the mirror looking back at us. That it only counts for half. It was a different event. It is asterisked. It's almost like, not exactly, but a little World Baseball Classic kind of vibe. Like, yeah, that goes on the resume. Yeah, you won that title, but it's not the same as winning a regular NBA or Stanley Cup championship.
We're going to do
Right?
sport. Are we going to do a sports show right now? I disagree because it was the same rules as everyone. In fact, I think a more bastardized version of sports was won the following year when they were playing in half-empty arenas and guys kept missing games, which is why I think that Suns-Bucks NBA Finals is what actually set the sport back. We move on. We have some breaking NBA news.
According to Shams Charania, the Miami Heat are waiving guard Terry Rozier today. According to ESPN, Rozier has been placed on leave by the NBA since October after federal indictments into sports gambling activity. Miami will open up a roster spot just in time to be the 10th seed and get bounced from the playoffs.
Wow, he included that last part?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Sorry.
What is the timing of that? Like, is it because they're going to pull one of those moves where you sign one of the G League players at the end of the season and it's some weird contract detail? Like, is that the timing of it?
I think they just realized, man, we're not really getting anything for this guy.
He's not going to be back in time.
This guy's not helping us at all. Zaz, this might be performance-based.
So, Dave, I'm going to give you your chance here. I know you started the show. You mentioned it. You're on cloud 9. Tell everybody why you're so happy today. Go ahead.
Well, it's because my favorite football team hasn't been in the championship game in 16 years. So they've resolved to chase a 43-year-old man whose last championship appearance was 16 years ago. So, wait, no. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about the improbable run of old man Kid Crosby and all of his pals making it into the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time in 3 or 4 years. Roy and I are over the moon. The greatest player of the millennium, proving what... I get it. 97 is a talented hockey player, McJesus, but he's never won a Stanley Cup. The most significant player of this century and his friends are back where they belong, playing in springtime, and everybody, including the hockey fans in South Florida, are going to gather around the screens to see if he has one more Stanley Cup run in him. Let's go, 87. These are the good times.
I have, through his career, not liked Sidney Crosby. All right. I don't like
never get that. I never get it.
I'll tell you why.
Never understand why people dislike except that he's great.
Of course he's incredible, but I will tell you why. Like the behavior on the ice, some of the antics, he's got a little bit of that he's a pest.
Yeah.
Like he plays.
Yeah, we like guys that play the game the right way, like Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, he's a little bit dirty.
I was just gonna say.
Like, so I haven't enjoyed. I don't like Sidney Crosby, but I will tell you, I would not mind seeing the Penguins and Sidney Crosby make a run. I think it's a cool story.
I would.
Why is it, Roy? Let's dig in here. What is the psychological background here? Why do people dislike number 87?
I think it's similar reasons that I just laid out.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what Zaslow said. I mean, this man shot the finger off of another player.
Did?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Was that legal?
It was a slash, so no.
His
I'm
finger
sorry
came
he
off?
doesn't behave himself like a debutante who needs to be defended by burly friends of his like Wayno Gretzky used to. Did I ever tell you about the time that I had the occasion to cross paths with the alleged great one?
No.
Back at Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Go ahead.
In the early days of the late night show, Wayne Gretzky was booked as a guest, and in the afternoon before he made his appearance, I was talking with the host of the show, and I said, please ask him. I don't like his passive aggressive way when 66 Mario Lemieux, the greatest player in the game's name, is invoked. You know, it's weird. It must be like asking Babe Ruth, what do you think about Willie Mays?
Is that true? He's weird about it?
In my book, yes. And 66 is always classy. He's a gentleman, and to share the ice with 99, what a thrill! And I mean, by the way, they're only 4 or 5 years apart in age, so it was always a little bit weird. 99 felt probably like, who's this newcomer?
Does
who
any
slipped my
sport, by
number
the way, if
99?
I could interject real quick, does any sport, by the way, get referenced by its fans the way hockey does with just the numbers? Like what Dave is doing right now, 66 and 99. I feel like it's a very hockey thing.
They also have like cuckoo numbers. So
Right.
They have numbers that you don't often see.
Right. Right.
Imagine the pressure. Imagine the pressure on this 18-year-old French-Canadian kid who's supposed to be the next Gretzky, who's only, like I say, 4 or 5 years older than him. And they say, you're going to be the next 99. And what does he do? He flips the 99 upside down and makes it 66 to say, I'm ready to win. I'm not going to hide from this thing. And whenever asked about Mario Lemieux, Gretzky, I always found him, like I say, passive-aggressive. So Jimmy Kimmel, sure enough, he's sitting next to him on panel, and he says, who in your book, one of our writers wants to know, who do you think is the greatest player of all time? And he said, well, Gordie Howe, always genuflecting to Gordie Howe.
Yeah, he loves
So
Gordie
Wayne
Howe.
Gretzky.
Loves Gordie Howe.
Pain in the ass. Bobby Orr's so great. And Kimmel goes, and Mario Lemieux, right? He's like, oh yeah, and Mario's great too. That's the shit I'm talking about. Like, why didn't you bring him up? Why didn't you well, you had to mention Howe and Orr, but somehow 66 Lemieux, your contemporary, oh, he slipped by. Yeah, he's also great. That's the sort of BS I can't take. So after the segment, Gretzky leaves and he comes back into the green room, and then he comes out of his room. He gathers his stuff with his publicist, and he's making his way out the door, out of the green room. And I stop him and I say, "Hey, Wayno, let's." So I start talking to him a little bit. I'm a Penguins fan, everything else. Hey, how come you didn't mention Mario when
said that?
Jimmy asked you? Yeah. I said, how come you didn't mention Mario when Jimmy asked you about him? And he said, I mentioned him. And I said, yeah, but Jimmy had to bring him up first. And at this moment,
you're having a contentious back and forth with the great one?
I don't want to color what it was or what it wasn't. I just brought up my concerns to him. And the publicist senses that maybe what you just did there, babe, that maybe this isn't a pleasant back and forth. And so she starts pulling on his elbow, and she says, Wayne and I are going to go now. And so they get about 10 feet away from me. And I say, hey, Wayno, Semenko's not here for you tonight. Dave Semenko was his goon before Marty McSorley.
You said that?
Semenko. I said, hey, Wayno, Semenko's not here tonight. And then the showrunner, I can shout him out, Shrifty's like comes over and arm bars me. And by the way, when I say that, Gretzky turns around like what did this guy just say to me?
Yeah.
And at that moment, Shrifty, the showrunner, like arm bars me. He's like, what the hell are you doing? You can't get in fights with the guests. And I said, you know what? Let me tell you something. If Wayne Gretzky gave me a licking, so be it. I did it on behalf of the greatest hockey player, and I'll wear my scars with pride. But then I thought, even better. You know what probably would happen? I would probably kick the ass of the alleged greatest hockey player of all time. And then where do we go from there? Then we erect statues of Damashek on the banks of the Three Rivers. That's what happens.
That is an unbelievable balls story that you just told, where you had a clear contentious back and forth with Wayne Gretzky, and then you essentially threatened him as he's walking away.
No.
You did.
Don't you do that. Don't do that.
You did.
There were no threats. I'm a
You're
man of peace.
reminding him that his
I'm a truth
bodyguard
teller.
is not here.
That's right. That's right. If we had to drop the gloves and go round and round, I was ready. And I was ready for whatever came next. Neil Broughton's not walking through that door, Wayno. That Dave Damashek is, and he's a weakling just like you. And the chips will fall where they may. Maybe it'll be a slap fight, but it'll be one in honor of Mario Lemieux.
Pens Flyers has to be the only series in which neither team has a shot.
What a creep! Listen, go watch your UFC or whatever you're.
I'll be watching Puck.
Whatever you're gonna.
No, I know Puck. I may live in a swamp and started following the sport 3 years ago, but I know what I'm talking about.
At least I got a team
Those
now.
teams aren't good.
I got a team now to root against, though. Thank you, Dave.
Yep, thank you. The story didn't help.
You're gonna root it.
It dragged.
You're gonna
on.
root against. What you would root against? You would root against.
I happen to love Erik Karlsson. He's one of my favorite players in the NHL. It's great to see him bounce back, but yeah, I want him to get bounced.
This has been sincerely one of the favorite season for a team that I root for in
Really?
a decade at least. I mean this
Without even seeing what happens in the playoffs?
I have no expectation that this ends in a championship. I always say, I mean, imagine if you were, I live in Los Angeles with the Dodgers fans, and it's unsatisfying. Yes, even though they've won the titles, and that is obviously gotta be a part of what's going on, much like being a Yankees fan 20 or 25 years ago was. But it's a terrible starting place that if we don't win it all, if we do anything less than win the whole thing, it's a bust of a season. That's a terrible way to be a fan. This I had no expectation whatsoever of them doing this, and this is a great maybe final chapter, one of the final chapters in one of the 3 or 4 greatest players in the history of the sport. It's been magnificent.
So this is one, without even having to see what's going to happen in the postseason, this experience as a fan this year is going down as one of your all-time favorites.
Yes. For me, this is probably my favorite team of the millennium.
Okay,
up
so
there
you know
with,
what?
Some pit basketball teams. I loved it too when Roethlisberger in his last year that they somehow found their way into the playoffs for that one, even though they had no business being.
Okay,
there.
so
That
you
was
know
fun,
what?
too.
Is it possible? Like, what if we went around the room here? Do you have an all-time favorite year where your team did not win? Like, do any of those years that you really enjoyed, do they rival? I'm not going to say did the winning feel better than losing, but do any of those years rival actually winning a championship?
Yeah, expectations have a lot to do with it. Who you beat along the way certainly has a lot to do with it. Yeah, we miss out on Wemby, right? But you beat Boston along the way, and that feels great. You get the banter. As sad as I was to lose to Indiana in the national championship game, boy, was I glad to beat the pants off of Ohio State in that game.
And Notre Dame that same season.
Yeah, and there's plenty of transitional teams, too, that have a special place in sports fans' hearts.
Was it 99 Canes, Edgerrin James, Giant Killers?
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day when Dan was mentioning Lamar Odom. That is
that's the team.
A beloved Miami Heat team
2004.
Kind of got the juice back in the market and had everybody full of hope, and you saw the emergence of Dwayne Wade. I do like those teams. Expectations have a lot to do with it. I do agree with Dave that we tend to be all or nothing, and I perpetuate this. It's a season if you're not a champion. I also think that falls in line with certain expectations that the franchise sets. Like with the Miami Heat, I feel like I'm living in misery because of what the culture thing means to that club.
To answer your question, a specific team, even though this Canes team had more expectations and did a lot more, the Cam Ward Canes team was like kind of out of nowhere. And we looked around and we were like, wow, Cam Ward, who played at Wazoo and like was okay, but now he's in every single game, he's making plays that we've never seen before from the quarterback position at this university. And it was just like, okay, they're down 16 in the third quarter. Like, all right, like Cam's going to get us out of it. And it was such a cool moment in time, even though they didn't make the playoffs, which they should have. But they had that moment where Cam was just Superman, and he was going to do everything possible to make this team win.
But there's also this weird context that to Devil's Damashek it that when the Indiana Hoosiers, their miraculous run. If you eliminate that, if you gave me the Men in Black flashlight
good tool
and erased the last 8 months, I wish I had that for any number of chapters of my life, but maybe including the Wayne Gretzky story. But either way, erase my brain, erase what we just saw, the miraculous run, including the victory over the Canes and all the rest of it. If you replace that in the memory banks for Indiana Hoosiers football fans with they went 9-3 and won the Rose Bowl, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. It would be the same level of joy because it was so improbable that it happened. So I feel like even that run was so great. There's something about the second one that you guys just experienced, that there's a different level of now we're the defending champs. And now we're going to see if we can defend that championship. And then when you do that, and you burnish your bona fides and can puff your chest out, that you will now resonate through the ages as a back-to-back champion. There's a certain pride and joy that comes with that as well.
That 2004 Heat team is certainly it. Like the first one that comes to mind, it's a beloved team. The regular season was so fun, and in part because they were so good at home. Like they finished the season with a huge home streak. They would never lose at home. Dwayne Wade's rookie year, Lamar Odom, the only year he was with the Heat. It was them announcing that they're back as a franchise. But the year, see, for me as I've gotten older, I really do appreciate the journey more than I ever have. I love the journey. Mm-hmm. It's not just about the destination, and that's something that's really changed in me as I've gotten older. And in 2023, it was all such a shock. All right, like you had the Miami Heat, who were a play-in team, and that, now granted, the year before they went to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, so it's a team that should have had expectation. All right. And they had a terrible regular season. They went from the first ever play-in team to the NBA Finals, going on at the exact same time. So it was an every night thing for 2+ months straight. You had the Florida Panthers, who had a miserable regular season, pull off, statistically the greatest upset ever in the first round of the playoffs, where they beat the all-time greatest regular season team, those Boston Bruins, coming back from 3-1, winning Game 7 in overtime, and going all the way to the Stanley Cup Final.
And by the way, thank you to the Pittsburgh Penguins for that loss to the Chicago Blackhawks.
That
got us in the playoffs.
They played a role. You had the Panthers, who went all the way to the Stanley Cup Final. And by the way, inexplicably, the Miami Hurricanes go to the Final Four, the most improbable of all the things that
FAU.
I just mentioned there.
And
FAU as well.
The ladies made it to an Elite Eight.
That's true. So, the year 2023.
That's the year for fun losing.
Unbelievable. Yeah, nobody won.
2 8 seeds going to the finals simultaneously. Yeah. It was nuts.
Nobody won anything that year for us, and it was the most enjoyable year. It was crazy.
You must make if for your own well-being, the best thing you can do is what Babe Zaslow just said there. Become, if you're not already, a journey over destination guy with your sports teams. It is the greatest virtue of sports, along with placing you with your family and friends and giving you those memories, those shared events that you'll look back on 5 years and 25 years after they happen. And as far as that goes, I'm an Angelino. I'm an old man sitting here watching Russian guys and Canadian farm boys, and the joy it gives me as they play their sport, they conduct their activity all on skates, and the glee that it provides me a couple or a few times a week in this horrid world. The journey has been everything for me. What a keen distraction from what's going on in this world otherwise. Thank you, Pittsburgh Penguins. Go get 'em, 87. Drink from the cup. Make it Iron City, would you, fella?
Dave brought this up earlier when he was offended at my ending vacations early and mentioned...
Not offended, intrigued.
And mentioned, am I also someone who leaves movies early? Can you remember, Dave, the last time that, or maybe ever, can you remember the last time that you walked out of a movie? Like, think about that. When you're walking out of a movie, especially if you tell someone that you walked out of a movie, you're making a statement. That's what that means if you walked out of a movie.
I agree, and I'm trying to run through it in my head if I've ever even not completed a movie I started watching on TV in the comfort of my own home. I don't know if I've ever done that. I can't believe you actually picked yourself up from your chair that you paid for and walked out of a movie.
Yeah.
What movie was it? How bad could the picture have been?
And I'm not talking about a situation where, like, when Saving Private Ryan came out in the theaters, that was a big thing where it came out where a lot of people walked out of the movie during the opening scene because we're talking about veterans who experienced it and it was traumatic how realistic it was,
right.
and they walked out. Like, we're not talking about that, all right? We're not talking about like it scared us or made us feel like we're talking about this movie's dog shit. I have to get up and leave. I did it definitely one time. I walked out of the movie Spawn when I was a teenager. That movie sucks.
Leguizamo, ass off.
Right? Terrible movie.
No, ass off acting from Leguizamo. I actually
Ass off is
rewatched
good.
this.
Ass on is bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you know that, Dave? Ass off. Good.
Never knew that, and as I mentioned to you when we were talking about the movie Spawn recently, Babe Zaslow, I've never gotten, for the entirety of his celebrated career, I've never really gotten John Leguizamo. I don't understand why people refer to him as a comedic genius or otherwise.
Benny Blanco.
I don't know that.
Carlito's Way. I told John Leguizamo, I had him on my show one time when I was still on the radio here. And I
that
told
he was no Lemieux?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I told him to his face, even though there was no FaceTime. I was on the phone. I told him to his face, I hate you so much because of Benny Blanco. I couldn't separate the character from the man. I hate what you did to Carlito. I hate that Benny Blanco. I had to tell him.
Yeah, there are certain villains in content that are just, you can't shake it. You can never see this person. They get typecast forever. Some people never bounce back. This happened with Linda Blair. She just, like, when she would go out in public, people would, like, run away from her because The Exorcist was so
you see her
scary.
walk down those steps, I mean, with the head turned the opposite way. Come on.
Yeah. You know, the best thing that ever happened was my man from White Lotus in that Duke meme. Because in The Patriot, I hated that bastard.
That's right. That's right.
That guy, anytime I see him, like, he's now known as a Duke meme guy, but
Yeah.
for a certain few that just can't shake the events of The Patriot, you're that asshole that killed that family.
Was he wearing the Duke shirt in White Lotus while holding the gun up to
Yes.
his head?
Yes. And people forget he's the asshole that killed Heath Ledger.
I walked out of Bewitched. Will Ferrell.
That makes sense.
I was with a group, I was with a group of people, and like an hour in, we're like,
why were you there in the first place?
I'm like, and that was like 15 years ago. I was a Will Ferrell guy. Any Will Ferrell joint, I'm going to give it a taste.
How's that conversation go?
What's up?
This sucks, right? Have you laughed? I haven't laughed. Should we leave? Yeah, let's get up out of here.
This was just a bunch of people, and it was just like we all kind of looked around and like, yeah, let's go. Let's get out of here.
That must have been quite a spectacle for the rest of the audience. Wait, whoa.
Right.
I don't think it was packed. People getting up in mass.
Right. Like when people walk out of a theater, I mean, even if you have never done it before, or maybe you've only done it once, like the only time that I can remember, you notice when someone or a couple or a group of people, when they get up and walk out of the movie. Everybody sees it. It's like jarring almost.
Yeah, and on the other end of the spectrum, I am resentful of people who get up and do standing ovations. I don't like that because they're making the standing ovation. When they do that, when somebody stands up to give the thing, like, I'm going to be the first one to stand up. I like the guy or the woman who does it even though no one else is standing up. They're like, I have to do it. You know what? I'm a man of honor and justice, and I'm going to give a standing ovation even if I'm one of one. And sometimes it just is left, that guy is left hanging there. But more often than not, you're compelled to stand up too, or else you're a jackass. And I don't appreciate the guy who starts the standing ovation because no one wants to be getting up off their feet and having to do that. And really, it's about the person who starts it, not the person they're allegedly honoring. I think we can all agree.
It's the last movie that you've been to that's not a superhero movie, because those aim to be crowd pleasers, right? You'll see this with the nerds doing that stuff. What's the I'm one of the cool ones. When's the last time you've been to a movie at a movie theater in which people clapped at the end?
Oh boy.
I mean, that's some weirdo stuff. Can I say very quickly, just before I forget, too, about this? I sit through every movie. Was this weird? My father passed away 3 years ago, and I got the call literally as the
You're not going to say you stayed.
You stayed through a movie?
You're not going to say that.
We had all 4 kids with us there, and I thought, like, what am I going to do? I'm just going to let them watch the movie. What I'm going to say, like, get up from your chairs and let's go home because the morning must begin right now.
Was it a shock?
Why would I not? I didn't say anything. Oh, no. It was not it wasn't a shock. No, I guess that's an important detail. Yes, so. It didn't come out of nowhere. But yes, I thought it would be weird to uproot them because we would just go home and then be sad at home. So I could just sit there and be sad on my own while they watched the movie before the morning process began for them.
Did anyone after the movie tell you, why didn't you tell us right away?
Not really. No.
Okay.
I mean, they're little children.
Okay.
Why would I put them on them?
What was the movie?
On them? I could. It was the most recent Indiana Jones picture.
The one with Shia LaBeouf?
Now you can understand.
No, there was another
No,
one.
no.
No, he's talking about Dial of
The one
Destiny.
that came out 3 years ago.
Yeah, Dial of Destiny.
Oh, all right.
Fifth in the installment. Not the best.
Oh, okay. I wanted
Now
to walk out of the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Horrendous movie. And the reason that we didn't walk out was we were there with another couple, and it seemed like they were enjoying it. My wife and I were hating it. We're even saying to ourselves, I wish we could leave. But we were there with another couple. They seemed fine with it, so we had to sit through the rest of that atrocity of a movie. The movie's horrible. Horrible.
Get Out for me.
You didn't like Get Out?
No, I clapped at the end of it, which was a question that I asked that nobody answered.
Oh,
and
I'm
just
sorry.
did their own
I'm
thing.
sorry. I had to tell my morbid story instead.
I don't remember ever clapping at the end of a movie. I don't think I've ever done that. Who's there to accept my clapping? I'm not at con. Number one, I'm not at con. And number two, the people who made the movie, they're not in the theater. Why would I clap? Who am I clapping for?
This has been one of my something that has fascinated me for many moons now. We have heard for 25 years about this event, the Cannes Film Festival. And every time the one that wins, the jury, whatever, blah, blah, blah thing, they like 20-minute standing ovation.
Who's standing and clapping for 20 minutes? Live your life. Get moving.
When they're like, it was an 8-minute standing ovation. For real? Like, is there video evidence of this just going on, this protracted? Like, what? Everybody just stands and looks at each other for like 8 minutes? Like, what do they do? Like, well, I'm not stopping until you do. Like, what the hell goes on there in the south of France?
You're 100% right. Who has time to clap for 20 straight minutes?
It's about them, isn't it? It's not about the recipient of the applause. It's about the person doing it because they have to show what great people they are. Right?
I remember
That's why
Brendan Fraser when he got really fat for that role.
The Whale.
The Whale. That I remember he got like a 10-minute ovation at one of those festivals.
Well, I think The Rock did also for Smashing Machine. Why are you laughing?
Do you have like the humility to like, hey, it's enough already. It's getting weird, everybody. Let's do something.
At some point, I'm like,
that's something to walk out on. That's something you walk out on is the applause. It's like minute 11, I'm out of here. Let me know when it's over.
You're really making a statement if you walk out mid-ovation. That's a statement. One final thing before we move on here. One final thing. When you do walk out of the movie, you don't like it, movie stinks, I got to get out of here. Do you then ask for your money back, too?
I don't know. I've never done it. You tell me.
I would never do that, but Fuentes, who used to work at a movie theater, says it is very common.
Yeah, some people do
A
that.
little voucher. You get a voucher back. Because they keep the money, obviously, but they'll give you a voucher. Fuentes says he didn't care. He's like, I don't care about this job. You can take whatever you want.
Does he
You want
actually?
the
What kind
arcade
of pain
game? You
in
can
the
have
ass?
the arcade game.
What kind of pain in the ass asks for the money back?
People do it. Yeah, people do it. I want my money back. I don't like this movie.
This wasn't up to my high standard.
Yeah. Yes.
Movie theater manager.
Did you guys see last night? Every once in a while in the NBA, the players try. It happens sometimes. And
It was a good game at the Mecca.
That's right. Last night, the Knicks. Now,
there was
granted,
one point in that game, Zaz, where there were 4 white players on the floor for Boston, and the lone black player's last name was White.
Wow. That's a nugget right there.
No, he was a Celtic.
Now, granted,
there you go, Mike.
Jaylen Brown did not play. Nonetheless, the Knicks beat the Celtics last night. Good game, close game. I think the Knicks, I feel like everybody's crowning the Celtics right now because Jason Tatum's back. And it's,
He looks good, to be fair.
He looks good, but he's not what he doesn't shoot well. He's not what he was yet. That's going to take a while.
Hasn't
okay?
even been a year from an Achilles injury. Like, yeah.
I'm not trying to say that Jason Tatum's playing poorly. What I am trying to say is it feels like people are crowning the Celtics just because Jason Tatum's back, that they're going to definitely win the Eastern Conference. And if Jason Tatum is not the Jason Tatum pre-injury, the Celtics aren't winning the Eastern Conference if that's the case. And I think the Knicks are the team that's going to beat them in the playoffs, too.
They were the team that beat them when...
Handily.
Yeah, that beat them, even though Celtics fans get to pacify themselves a little bit by saying Tatum got hurt in that series.
He got hurt with seconds remaining as they're about to go down 3-1.
That's not how it actually went. The Knicks looked like a team that could give them problems. And when Brunson gets in that zone, he's a really fun player to watch. You have to get consistent efforts from Cat, but Josh Hart, if I were a Knicks fan, I would love Josh Hart so much. I know he's beloved over there. Great guy, really good player, really good role player for them. That was a really fun game. I mean, for all the crap that the NBA deservedly gets, there have been some really good national TV games. I know last night was on Amazon Prime, but there have been some really good games this week.
Yeah, I look back at last year, and I think at worst, the Knicks are just as good this year as they were last year. Maybe better, but at worst, they're just as good. And the Celtics, not only because of, most importantly, what I just said about Jason Tatum, but the supporting cast, like, there's no more Porzingis, there's no more Drew Holiday, there's no more Al Horford.
Yeah, but they picked up across the board and kind of filled those positions seamlessly.
But you think the Celtics are just as good right now as they were last year? I don't know how you can make that case.
The Tatum injury did force some guys to develop. Like Pritchard leveled up. This Baylor guy was awesome.
Baylor Shireman's a good piece. But again, like you said, Porzingis, where's he been? Like we don't know what he had, right? So that's in and out of the lineup. Drew Holiday was Amin said a waterlogged corpse at one point. Like, these are guys that were good 2 or 3 years ago, but they're last year.
They were good last year.
They were okay last year. They weren't good.
Well, Amin's pick is the Knickerbockers to beat the Celts. I'll stand by the Celts until we see otherwise. But Tony or anybody else in there, do you know what a Knick is?
That's a good question.
This
a pair
has
of
to
pants, right? They're like pants or something?
This has to do with the Dutch.
The Knickerbocker? No. It's not a. You're talking about knickers. You were talking.
Careful.
Be careful.
Sheesh.
Be careful. I emphasized. I think I did a good job of
you got the
you
K
did
there.
all right.
The
You did all right.
Knickerbockers.
They were named after a Clive Owen Showtime series.
Boy, does anybody remember that show? That was
Bono's
a great
daughter was
show.
in it.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, the lady lead.
That show was a gem about turn-of-the-century surgery in New York City. It was grotesque, and then all of a sudden they just canceled it, and I never.
Yeah, nobody watched it. That's why.
It was good.
I'm sure you.
Clive Owen was shooting up between his toes.
You art house goon.
Oh, it was great. And then for some reason, a ninja made the scene and killed somebody with a ninja star.
It's because he would go to those Asian opium dens to get high before
Super weird show. Let's bring
said
it back.
scalpel
Tony,
to Bono's daughter.
A knickerbocker has nothing to, well, it kind of has to do with pants. A knickerbocker is a fancy man from another century.
Really?
That's what it's a reference to. It's a cosmopolitan fancy man, knickerbocker. And it's just right out there in the open, and we never talk about that. That's
and would
a
they
funny
call
name for a
them
team.
Knicks for short?
I don't. I don't know, but I'm gonna put two and two together. That since they called the hospital where Clive Owen worked the Nick as a shortcut, I'm gonna assume yes, they did call them Knicks.
Wow, how about that?
I clapped at the end of Armageddon.
What?
Well,
Just
the
bringing
world
it
was
back
Just for
there
the
after
song.
all.
Just bringing it back.
Thank you
Jack.
for finally answering my question.
I mean, it was a good performance from Steve Buscemi. I get it.
The end where they're like walking in slow motion and then Liv Tyler running. Oh, goosebumps.
But her dad's dead.
Yeah.
You ain't human if you didn't applaud when the Death Star finally blew. Thank you, Solo.
Coming up today on the Alley Oop, he is risen. Cade Cunningham has returned. Also, Anthony Davis reenacts his call with Nico Harrison, and boy, is Nico a freaky, freaky bull.
Also, Dylan Brooks and KD had an amazing exchange that ended up just how you thought it went. Lock in.
Thinking Big with Kevin Hart.
I'm very excited about doing this because this is a human being I'm very curious about. His insatiability, his conquering, his ability to be, I think I can say this, if not the most successful comedian in America, the most popular comedian in America. Usually stadiums don't get sold out. Kevin Hart, thank you for being here. I am really interested in finding out how you're built. Your friend Neil Brennan tells me, ask him about his past and you will understand why he can't stop working and why he will never stop working.
That's very true. Neil is a really good friend of mine. Great guy, too. I like Neil all around in general. He's just a good definition of a person. But, yeah, man, I'm on your platform. So I'm a firm believer in allowing people to be great. And you are good at what you do. So in this interview, be you. But if we can go as in depth as you want, what questions you have, you'll get great answers and great feedback. I'm here for the greater of good.
Okay, well, I'm happy to have you. So let's start, though, with your conquering. It seems like you are hell-bent on proving something with employees and worth and building and creativity. You want to be what? Like, it seems like you've arrived at what would be a destination for any comic.
I think that it's I can simplify it, right? I can simplify it. I think what some people tend to make extremely complex and difficult, I do a good job of making those things easy, right? For me, I look at it from a perspective of we all have an option in our life to do as much as we possibly can, right? And you can take that option and max it out, or you can do the minimum, or you can, do, I guess, what can be deemed to be the mid-level of whatever, right? But there's things that are put around us that do nothing but give us the opportunity to succeed and grow. And it's how you use those tools around you to basically be a version of your best benefit. And my tools that I've been able to form and put myself around are people, right? I've been around some really great people that have achieved a lot of amazing things in their lives and their careers. And in doing that, it's motivating, it's inspiring.
But have you met many like you? The Rock you guys seem to have like a common space where you both understand, yeah, we want everything. We want everything. You've met a lot of people like that?
I've met a lot of people like that. I'm an entrepreneur, right? So an entrepreneur, businessman, a mogul, whatever you want to define it as, there's people that have multiple layers. There's people that want to do a lot of things. There's people that do a lot of things. There's a lot of companies that have been developed to basically now act in a space because of their now ecosystem. They're able to do so much, right? Like the bandwidth of one thing is no longer just the one. It's, look at Amazon, look at Disney, look at these companies that have a multi-layered system, right? It's an amusement park, but then we do animation, and the animation has went into television, and now we are now going out of this into experience, and experience, it's also an activation of experiential. Well, that's somebody that keeps compounding on one idea, right? Amazon was once one thing, well, now is Amazon Prime, Amazon Fresh.
Final weekend of the NBA season, final Friday of this NBA regular season. Tony, there's a lot happening this weekend then.
It's moving day in the NBA. Moving a couple days in the NBA.
Is that what they refer to it as?
No, I'm just saying it because we talked about moving day at the Masters, but the next couple days in the NBA, moving day, we're going to see who's filling out the brackets where, who's filling in the 3 seed, the 5 seed, the 6 seed, where all these things
Do you
are
think
happening.
that'll catch on, moving day?
I'm trying to get there.
I would lose that. Do you have a top 5 for us?
I've got a top 5 storylines heading into the NBA playoffs, gentlemen.
Okay, let's do it.
In the OLI, which I have 4 of. Get locked in right now. Dave Damashek, I'm filling you in because you're a guy that likes to fill in on the NBA post-NFL season. We had that show a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm locking you in for what's going on into the future of the playoffs. So OLI number 1, nobody wants to play Charlotte.
Let me ask you something.
You think Detroit wants to play Charlotte?
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you something, because we do this every year. No one wants to play this team. No one wants to play this team. Does the team that no one wants to play ever actually do anything in the playoffs?
No, of course not. But that's
the Miami Heat. We were saying that.
The zombie Heat from a couple years ago.
You don't want to play these Miami Heat in the playoffs. Mike Schur was going on for a full year.
Bill Simmons has a conniption every time they're there.
I want to play those Miami Heat in the playoffs.
The Charlotte Hornets, even though we've laughed at them for multiple decades, have been the best team this year, right? This calendar year, they've been one of the best teams in 2026, which is insane. But they've got a lot of young players, and I think they're going to be given problems to a Detroit team, a Boston team. I don't think either of those guys want to see the Charlotte Hornets.
I think Detroit would smack them. But nonetheless, this is your list.
Thank you. You said it. Second OLI, New York sneaky contenders, the New York Knickerbockers. Very interesting in the Eastern Conference. OLI number 3. Can Houston do anything in the West? Something to keep an eye on. A big team, a team that can get a lot of offensive rebounds.
They've won 8 in a row.
Won 8 in a row. They've got KD. They've got Shepard, who's been playing really well, too. Like, there's an interesting piece there in Houston. I got to see what's going on there.
What was the fourth note? The number 4?
I haven't gotten there yet.
No.
That
I
was
mean,
number 3.
you're going in ascending order, right? So, what was the last one prior to this one?
New York Knicks sneaky contenders.
Huh.
Can Houston do anything?
Well, no, I know the New York ones. You wrote that down.
I had that one prior to. I wrote this in the morning.
All
right. Fourth OLI, last OLI. A healthy Philly team is intriguing.
All right,
but they're not.
He had an appendicitis operation yesterday.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, for next year.
No, he'll be fine.
Bold take of Embiid when healthy. Good.
No, that's not true.
He just had an appendicitis.
Still somehow worse than the Knicks observation. Yeah, no, they're good.
No, the Knicks observation was sneaky contenders.
They're good. They're one of the
the 3 seed of the East.
I mean, help me out here.
No, I want to focus on him saying if the Sixers are healthy right after Joel Embiid suffered an appendicitis.
You don't think that they're going to try to get him out on the floor?
I mean, from what I saw,
appendicitis. Who cares?
From what I saw, it's a month recovery.
A month.
That's not true.
Jason Tatum came back in 9 months on an Achilles.
Remember, Uncle Jesse had an emergency appendectomy when Rebecca went into labor, And he walked out and he was holding both babies by the carriage when they walked in the house. And then he misplaced the socks. And then he forgot which one was Nikki and which one was Alex.
Number 5. The East is wide open this year.
Yeah.
Zaz, the East is wide open this year.
But yet the Knicks are not one of the favorites in the East.
Well,
They're sneaky contenders. But if you look at the Celtics and if you look at the Pistons, those are two teams that have been better than the Knicks all season. They've been struggling against really good teams all year in the Western Conference and in the Eastern Conference. So as we look at the Knicks, we're like, all right, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, brought the same team back, have a new coach, have a couple new players off the bench.
They're sneaking up on teams.
There's
a team that made it to the Eastern Conference.
Hey, I would not be surprised if in the upcoming NFL season, if the San Francisco 49ers make a little bit of noise.
You see, that's how I know you're a moron. That's how I know you're a moron.
If they're healthy, they're good.
The 49ers have made it to multiple Super Bowls.
Look out for
and
them
have
Rams.
lost. When have the Knicks made it to the NBA Finals?
Look out
Damn it, I know you don't watch them.
The Rams.
If Seattle's healthy, they could put something together next year.
You guys are morons. All right,
Denver
number 4.
Broncos, Rams. They made it to the conference championships. They didn't make it all the way. Look out for them sneaky contenders.
Number 4. Try to bring you guys gold, and you pawn it off. Okay. Number 4. If I was the Spurs, I'd try the NBA on the 65-game rule with Wemby. I tell you guys really like the 65th game? You want Wemby to go play with a rib contusion? We're sitting him out. 64 games. Try to vote for him for Defensive Player of the Year. Do it. I dare you, Zaz. I dare you.
Well,
take him out of the MVP race. Take him out of the depoy race. Do
first of all, I don't have a vote, all right? So, whatever with daring me. But you don't think that he's going to play in these final 2 games?
No, he will. He will. But if I'm the Spurs, I'm trying to teach the NBA a lesson. I'm trying to tell him, you know what?
You're going to hurt Wemby to teach the NBA a lesson.
No, because he's hurt, and he's going to go play hurt in one of these last 2 games. What if he gets more hurt?
I think the NBA is teaching them a lesson by having this rule.
A rule that we all hate.
Is he going to do the thing where he plays 5 minutes in the
game? No,
you
have to play at least 20 to qualify. Okay. I didn't know that until a few weeks ago.
When it comes to World War II, be on the lookout for the Allies. I think they have a shot in this one.
Number 3, Lakers are dead men walking.
Now that's a take.
There you go.
They can finish.
That's how you do it.
You guys like that? You don't know that Luka and Austin Reeves are both not playing?
You're making a statement.
Yeah, you're putting yourself out there.
New York Knicks sneaky contenders is also a statement.
Everyone would agree with that.
They're not even sneaky.
They're very sneaky.
No, they are
They're
not.
just flat out a contender in the East.
They beat the Celtics.
The sleepy borough of Manhattan. They might make some noise out of there. Pay attention, everybody.
Did you see yesterday LeBron get into it with a courtside fan?
I did.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Telling the fan to sit down and relax.
Relax. Just watch the game. Watch the game. How can the Knicks sneak up on anybody?
Very simple.
Whenever they're over
they're
500, we have Sam Morrell on the show for like 15 minutes.
That is true.
Dan won't let the Knicks sneak up on anybody.
That is true. But if you're telling me the Knicks are the 3 seed and the Atlanta Hawks are the 6 seed, you're not worried about the New York Knicks?
No, we saw that game unfold.
You're not worried?
I think it'll be a great series. I think Atlanta's going to, whoever they play, be it Cleveland, be it New York. It'll be a hotly contested series. Might go 6, but I think those teams end up.
So you're not
prevailing.
worried whatsoever?
Styles make fights, right?
Why would he be worried? He's not a Knicks fan.
Yeah, I'm
because he's on the other side of this argument. Now he's a Knicks fan.
No, what I like about the Eastern Conference, is the matchups are hugely important because no Knicks fan wants to see the Pistons, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that team has our number. Cavs had to make a move to be able to handle the Knicks because the Knicks give them all sorts of problems. Right. So I do think styles make fights in this conference, no doubt.
And I think Atlanta is a not to use the sneaky word again, but another sneaky team in the Eastern Conference that if the Knicks are looking down and say, damn, we have to play Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels and everybody that's playing over in Atlanta, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who should be 6th man of the year over Keldon Johnson, in my opinion. That's another opinion.
I think Atlanta can give Detroit issues, but I don't know if they can give the Knicks issues.
I don't know about that. Anyways.
Just like, Boston, picked by many, but the Knicks seem to give Boston some issues. Styles make fights. You know that. You're an MMA guy.
Which would hurt less as a Heat fan? Boston winning the championship or the Knicks winning the championship?
Just give me Boston because I'm used to it already.
Celtics would hurt less, much less.
Yeah. See, that's an interesting way to look at it because I think the Knicks winning would hurt less because these days I hate Boston so much more, but I've experienced Boston winning recently.
New York would be so
at least New York. if we can keep them from ever winning, that's a good thing.
Yeah, you've changed my mind. I am annoyed by the Boston media types, whereas I find the Knicks fans funny.
Yeah.
And I kind of would revel in seeing their reaction to it.
I think I would hate it less if the Knicks won.
Yeah. But
keep your club exclusive is exactly right. The Knickerbockers don't matter outside of the early 70s. You don't want them passing the velvet rope that you're on the right side.
I could see that side.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
So back to the Lakers. Lakers dead men walking. They can finish anywhere from 3 to 5 in the Western Conference. If they do finish in that 4-5 matchup, they're going to be playing Houston, which is going to be a tough matchup for them. If they end up 3, Minnesota's already locked to the 6th seed. They just got back Jaden McDaniels. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a very spooky team for the Lakers because they beat that ass last year.
Are you with me? I said this a couple of months ago, and I might fall ass backwards into being right here. But a couple of months ago, I said the Lakers will not win a single playoff game.
I remember you saying that.
I'm sticking to that now. I think I'm going to wind up being first. I was right, then I was wrong. Now I might be right again.
Luka had one of the most incredible marches we've ever seen in any year of this league, and
it was a June.
If they win a series 4-1, will you take a partial victory of come on?
No, they have to win none games.
You don't think Luka can get him to one
He's
game?
not going to. Do you understand how injuries work?
I don't think you understand how gutting it out works. I think you're missing that part.
Yeah,
You gut it out.
He doesn't gut it out on vacation.
Well, also, I don't know how much an injury hampers Luka. Because he doesn't really lean on his athleticism.
A hamstring, you can't play. He hasn't
I know,
played
but
in 2 weeks.
I mean, he's the last guy down the floor, last guy up the floor.
He's been playing better.
If anybody can play hurt, it might be Luka.
And that's what I'm trying to tell Zaz, who doesn't understand gutting it out. Your hamstring hurts? Great. It's the playoffs. Get out there.
Okay.
He's not explosive.
Number 2, Denver may have the toughest gauntlet to go through ever in the Western Conference. If they're 3,
here we go.
If they end up on the
cooking,
3 seed,
dude.
then they're going to have to play Oklahoma City. Then they're going to have to play, they're going to have to play San Antonio Spurs and then Oklahoma City in the Western Conference
That's
Finals.
what we want to see.
Brutal.
It is interesting that you say that because tonight the Nuggets have the Thunder, so it's a huge game. But
the Thunder already clinched.
You can't expect Oklahoma City to be playing anyone tonight.
No.
So you feel like it's essentially a giveaway game for the Nuggets.
Not only that,
evening.
the Nuggets play Oklahoma City and San Antonio the next 2 games. That's who the Nuggets finished the season with. So it's like, all right, what are we going to see from these teams? Both teams are clinched in 1 and 2. Are we going to get a ton from Oklahoma City? Probably not. Are we going to get a ton from San Antonio? Is Wemby going to play, or is he going to play in the game prior? Like, we don't know what's going to happen there.
Okay, so let me ask you something then. So this is interesting. If you're Denver, you want to lose one of these next 2 games at least, right? Because you'd kind of want to drop to 4.
I don't know, but the thing is, you tell your team, hey, we want to avoid San Antonio. We just want to play Oklahoma City
I mean,
early.
you're just being smart. Like you'd have to get to the finals by playing both San Antonio and Oklahoma City. Or if you drop down a spot, you're only on the Oklahoma City side
Yeah, but then you're
of
going to have
the bracket.
to pay San Antonio at some point, Dave.
I think trying to cultivate matchups is a bad idea
I agree.
spiritually.
I
Then
agree.
you get it. I think don't beg for a certain matchup because then that team's going to play you with a chip on its shoulder if that's at all public.
I just think it's bad juju. I agree.
Right. Everybody knows Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick, and Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard, and Tony Gonzalez played college basketball. At least those things are true. I think the one of those things that is a touchstone that comes up every single broadcast, not just with the Denver Nuggets, a whole team, but with the entire city of Denver, the entire sports town. It is never not mentioned the altitude and the advantage that gives the home
5280.
team. Everybody talks about that. Shouldn't all of Denver's sports teams, shouldn't they all be ashamed for not winning more? If this is such an advantage for them, shouldn't they be more dominant, all of them at home? Okay, we can give a pass to the Rockies, but shouldn't the Nuggets and Avs win all their home games? If it's such an advantage, when you got to go to high altitude, good luck, your lungs can't handle it, then shouldn't the Nugs be, like I say, undefeated every season?
Can I tell you something in all honesty? Because I spent last week, I don't know if you heard, I ended my vacation a day early, Dave.
I did hear about
I was
that.
in
You know about
Vail.
that breathing?
I was in Vail, Colorado. It was my first time ever in Colorado, and I felt the air. Like, it was a problem
Were you
for
woozy?
me. I was constantly short of breath. Yeah, I felt it. Weird.
But right though, I mean, how much do we have to hear about this with it having no apparent impact for decades now? The altitude, it's a factor that you have to deal with if you're a visitor. Then shouldn't point spreads be favor the Nuggets more than they already
why
do?
do you
No,
say
because
there's
no benefit?
Why do you say there's no apparent benefit? Like, what would convince you? Do you have to see players collapse on the court and die?
Shouldn't the Nuggets, the home road splits for the Nuggets and Avs should be much greater than they are. If it's
The Nuggets are
such
27
an
and 13.
advantage.
27 and 13 at home. The Nuggets are.
Isn't that weird?
Should
That's
be
a
better.
pretty good record.
It's weird.
Yeah, but if you look above them, San Antonio's 31 and 7 at home, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are 34 and 6 at home.
Okay, good point.
So
Denver should be
better.
ashamed. The Broncos too. They're lumped in too. I don't care that you have to play with your backup quarterback. The Patriots have to play in thin air.
So with the Denver Nuggets possibly going through some of the toughest gauntlets we've ever seen in the NBA, it stands to reason that Nikola Jokic, who's been incredible all season, it would be a waste of an all-time incredible season for them to fall short, even though they've got a great team. They've got the best player on the planet right now, who should be the MVP. They're not going to give it to him, but that's
Dan
politics.
said yesterday, greatest offensive player of all time.
Again, I would follow Dan into the breach on that. Like, Jordan scored a ton. Did he grab a ton of rebounds? Did he grab a ton of assists? No. Like, that's not how that works. Number one, can Oklahoma City go back-to-back? They've been
Damn, he had two good ones.
What do you mean, oh, stop? What do you mean, oh, stop? Can they go... Again, doesn't know ball. Just started watching basketball. Just started watching basketball 2 weeks ago.
You're watching all the sports, and your number one observation was, man, can this team do it again?
The question is,
you got to throw a Jack in there at least.
Can they go back-to-back Jack? Okay,
a little cliche.
This is the same. Mike Ryan essentially just walked out of the movie.
Come on.
Are we going to talk about it or not?
That was your number one observation?
Go ahead, let's hear it. Go.
Yeah.
We'll give you a chance.
Because Oklahoma City has been the most injured team all year, yet they've been the best team all year, right? So they're starting to get healthy at the right time, but they have to go through either Denver and San Antonio or just San Antonio and whoever else pops up, whether it be...
That's why they play the season!
How do you feel your explanation's going so far?
Well, if Mike wouldn't scream, I'd probably say
the whole
pretty
thing
well.
about this season is who can knock off the champs.
Right.
And
in the opposite way, can Oklahoma City go through and beat some of the toughest teams we've ever seen come out of the West?
April 10th, this just dawned on you.
Buddy, do you know the record? Do you
Hand
know the
on the
record
shoulder
of the
for
San
the-
Antonio
Hand
Spurs
buddy.
over the Oklahoma City Thunder?
No, I'm super
They
into
own them.
Yeah, but
They haven't won this season against the San Antonio Spurs. So, can they go back-to-back?
Jack.
Can they go back-to-back, Jack?
I'm
when you
familiar.
have San
Could you just
Antonio
try to
standing
provide
in the
the
way,
context?
when you have them standing
I'm aware
in
of
the
the
way,
roadblocks
they
in their
haven't
way.
beaten them all year long, and you're looking at Wemby, and he's covering the entire door, and you can't go through.
Yeah, we've
That's
spent the
question.
entire season.
Dave Damashek.
Tony's right. The West is shaping up to be kind of tough.
Thank you for identifying the roadblocks in their way, Tony.
You know what? I'm going to give Tony a chance here to redeem himself because I know he's been wanting to get this conversation off the ground, which really doesn't make sense that it wasn't included in one of his top 5 storylines over the weekend.
Going forward, remember, this is into the playoffs.
Okay, all right, fine. I'll give you a pass there then. But you have been wanting to get the Rookie of the Year conversation going.
This is the greatest Rookie of the Year race that we've ever seen in the NBA in its history. I don't think that there's anything better of these two than
You
these
know
two
about
guys.
Grant Hill, Jason Kidd?
Okay, what happened there?
They shared the award.
And I think we should do the same thing now. Wow. I think Cooper Flagg has had an incredible season. I think Con Knippel has had an equally incredible season in his own lane on his team. Cooper Flagg's the number 1, Con Knippel 2 or 3 depending on the night. But he's been so effective in shooting, in spacing the floor, in playing off ball with the Hornets. He's basically been the key to unlock the entire thing in Charlotte. Cooper's just been amazing from the jump, has had higher highs, but Con Knippel's been so great consistently that it's been a very cool race to see back and forth. Chris?
I have an idea. We settle this on the court, one-on-one. They play.
Ooh, I think we need more one-on-one to settle all hash. I think that's how we should replace the All-Star game, in fact, with a one-on-one tournament. How do you do that, though? How do they make it so that you split the Rookie of the Year? I mean, obviously, the voters would have to collude, right? They would have to say, here's what we're going to do so that it breaks exactly evenly, right? I mean, you would have to.
No.
I wonder why press boxes don't do that when they're voting for Super Bowl MVP. There's some times where it's like, we should give it to the whole defense or we should give it to the offensive line, but that would require the journalists powwowing beforehand and saying, let's make this happen as a group, right? That's what you would have to do to have a split Rookie of the Year.
With intention, yes, you would obviously have to collude.
But like Jason Kidd and Grant Hill, it was just the same amount of votes.
That was random.
Okay.
That was a random occurrence. But if we want to have this debate saying they are both worthy, we cannot leave it to chance. Let's all collude together.
I like the idea of somebody sending out an email to all the voters of like, hey, I got this idea. And he lists out like all
for
these
your
people,
eyes only.
All these people are going to vote this way. All these people will vote this way, and we will get them both. And then one guy responds all like, not doing it.
Or do you think someone's like, no, I want to be on this side? Does someone want to switch with me?
No, I'm voting for Wemby. Or no, I know we're talking Rookie of the Year.
What are you
but
doing?
That's a great race too, though. We could talk about the same thing in the MVP.
Mike, you brought this to my attention.
My ass is still chapped about the SGA and Oklahoma City conversation. Number one thing, by the way.
Try harder next time. Okay.
Throw a jack in there, dude.
Yeah, just do better next time. That solves all the problems. So we spoke about Lamar Jackson on the show yesterday and talking about like how much pressure he has, I guess, going into next season. And really the crux of the argument, or discussion, I should say, was, all right, Harbaugh's out. All right, you won that battle. You won that face-off. You're also, there's an inherent pressure on that. And on top of it, are your best days still in front of you? And you only have one more year of guaranteed money under your contract. It's a pretty legitimate discussion about Lamar Jackson's future. Well, not everyone was pleased about the discussion, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's your classic sports radio topic. We were talking about Lamar Jackson. Part of the criticism is like, why is this news? Well, I would ask you the same question. Why is Lamar Jackson showing up to the first day of OTAs news? The answer is because that's a rarity in Baltimore. So he seems bought in, understands that this season's important for him.
Or how much does it have to do with, okay, I have a new coach here, let's set the tone?
That could be part of it too, no doubt. But, I'm sure he knows that he doesn't have any guaranteed money after the 2027 season. So Kyle Van Noy, who played with the Ravens, I think
Dolphins too.
Currently, yeah, good player, nice career in the NFL. He took exception to the segment, and I think he watched it. It wasn't very long. But do we have the tweet? Because
so we put out a clip. You're saying?
We put out a clip. All right, I'm gonna have to read this on my phone because that is very.
Oh, he wrote a novel.
How am I supposed to read this on the?
What happened to 140 characters?
I can see it, but I don't like reading on air.
All right, here I pulled it up. So let me pull up this tweet. All right, so this is what Kyle Van Noy said to our clip. Can I ask why y'all are trying this narrative of pressure with Lamar when he already won the pressure argument? All right, let's dissect that. Trust me, it gives us a lot.
It's an exclamation point, not a question
mark. Because when you're one of the best in the league and you haven't won a Super Bowl, that's sports.
Welcome to sports, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle apparently has played in sports for a long time. We have to explain what sports are.
He's never heard sports discourse, apparently.
Okay, but all right, you can take exception to that. Y'all started off his career by saying he should play wide receiver or running back. No, that was actually famously Bill Polian.
It's just one person.
The Hall of Fame executive. He won a Heisman as a quarterback. I saw that. I thought he was a quarterback.
Did Bill Polian also suggest he could be running back? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think the closest thing that I said that could maybe be considered meek support of Bill Polian was, that guy's a really sick athlete. I bet you he'd make an awesome wide receiver too if he wanted to concentrate on that.
Okay.
All right, but I didn't say that, but I guess y'all is the royal y'all in that it's the media. Because, athletes, let me explain sports to you. Athletes hate the media.
They also have no idea what the media's actual job is.
But the media also didn't play the sport. You also have to know that going
Of course,
into
which means that you shouldn't be talking about it.
He said, Lamar Jackson said, watch this, and won an MVP not just once, but twice. Again, this goes into the pressure argument. Yeah, we actually, in that clip, gave him so much credit for doubting, for conquering the naysayers here. He argues that it should have been 3 MVPs, but It's a long enough tweet, and he decides he's going to save that for another day.
All right, looking forward to that day.
If he never plays it down again, he's literally a Hall of Famer. Interesting point. Hadn't considered it. Probably right. He's the most influential football player. He's like AI is to basketball. 100% agree.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And he literally changed the way people take quarterbacks in this league. 100% agree. So GTFOH.
What's that stand for?
Get the bleep out of here. With pressure, winning a Super Bowl, that's just a cherry on top.
That's not true.
No, I think it's I don't think it's true. Yeah, I'm with you, Zaz.
It's literally why you play.
It's why. Yeah, it's why it's a discussion.
Yeah,
it's why Charles Barkley.
It's the
never
whole
won a title.
point. Let's just cancel that whole tournament that they conduct for in January and into February. Then, if it doesn't really matter, if it's a little sprinkle on top of the good times of the regular season, why don't we just cut to the chase and hold a vote around the holidays and decide who we all think is the best?
Well, I don't know if
instead
you
of actually conducting it.
I don't know if you
What
knew
are we
this,
talking
Dave.
about?
Kyle Van Noy helpfully points out that people have no idea how hard it is to win a championship and talk about it like it's so easy.
Right.
Had no idea. Thank you. Illuminating thought. Right. Would it be nice for him to win a Super Bowl? Duh. Yeah, you could argue the same thing for Allen. Again, it's in the clip. But he has proved he is Hall of Fame worthy. Lamar and his mom won the moment he won an MVP and proved he could play quarterback at a high level.
Well, yeah, on a personal level.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's a great personal achievement. But again, team sport. That's graded on championships. If you don't think that's a fact, go back and look at all the garbage experts, air quotes, well, actual quotes, were saying during his draft process. He was picked 32nd by a team, by the way, that doesn't scream he's going to be our quarterback of the future. I think we were very kind to Lamar
that's
Jackson.
bullshit right there. Like, expectations change depending on who you are. Like, that's like saying just because Tom Brady was selected in the 6th round, he doesn't have to do any winning.
He raised the bar of expectations for himself, and now he is judged against what the standard should be for a multiple-time MVP in that league. And the same is said for Josh Allen, especially with that loss in Denver in which he didn't play well. He made some mistakes. Josh Allen goes further, more consistently than Lamar Jackson has. Dave Damashek, what say you?
I think they're side by side. I think you can try and draw distinctions about Josh Allen's a tick better in January, but they're both in the same boat, which is that they're both tracking to Merino Island. Merino is one of one. I know there's Fran Tarkenton and Jim Kelly, but I think we all, living in the real world, all associate Dan Marino as the guy, the tragic figure in the quarterback league who never got over the hump, who's still in the conversation as one of the 5 best quarterbacks of all time. He's about to get some company there on Merino Island, and it's going to be maybe Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And by the way, how do we account for the fact that when we just so casually, and I think it comes from this weird place of performative or convenient sort of empathy, like, yeah, you can't don't take Lamar Jackson to task for not doing the thing that is the entire point of every season that goes on. And by the way, the other thing is too, I disagree with his adjective influential. I know you just agreed with it, Mike, that Lamar Jackson is the most influential quarterback and has changed the way people consider quarterbacks. I don't really think that's true. Lamar Jackson is one of one. Who's really comparable? Who changed their approach to quarterbacks and expectations based on what they saw with Lamar Jackson?
All right. Well, I kind of agree with Kyle's point there, but I think that there can be a couple of those players. I also think Patrick Mahomes is hugely influential. I think Steph Curry, they're a lot like Steph Curry.
How?
In that people grow up trying to pattern their games after this guy because they have unique skill sets. They are one of one. And the same way that now everybody wants to shoot threes because Steph Curry did it at the clip that he did, shooting threes from deep distance. I think people do grow up wanting to be Lamar Jackson in different ways than just your standard local sports hero. I meant to ask you, what you meant of he made several points of his general overall point, though. Not just he may find himself not winning a championship, but this whole thing about there is no more pressure anymore for Lamar Jackson because Bill Polian once said that he should play wide receiver. That's well in the past.
Yeah, that he's exceeded that expectation set by a weird old man in Bill Polian. And it's not just Bill Polian. There were people out there, I remember at the time, saying that I don't think he translates to the NFL. And that was always that weird curmudgeon kind of logic that as soon as you see it on the field, you're like, oh, I guess I was wrong. It is possible to play that style of ball in the NFL. Remember, they Lamar Jackson, the knock on him was he's going to break. And I got to say, he has kind of broken. You know, the idea that he had clean health and wasn't getting over the hump the first couple of years of his run when he was an MVP candidate, and he still is every year, he is breaking down and missing big games, and it's happening fairly consistently with Lamar Jackson and with Josh Allen too. I think they both, at roughly age 30 now, have to consider for the good of the team and how far they can get in January. And you see some of that starting to happen with the way they play, not running as much anymore. But they kind of need that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant mid-career playing style adjustment. You know, they were much more dynamic in their 20s. Jordan and Kobe were attacking the rim, and then they sort of realized at age 30, I think mid-range jumpers are more the way to go here. I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson both need to become that guy. I don't know if they're capable of doing it and if they'll be as effective if you take away their ability to run with the ball. In Kyle's defense, Lamar Jackson is a Mark Andrews catch away from this being a totally different conversation. Is it, though? Do you know? I mean, people always give Lamar Jackson that benefit of like, well, if Mark Andrews had caught that ball, now we're having how do we know that Lamar Jackson was going to run and the Ravens were going to win out if they win that game?
That's right.
It's assuming
it's a second-round game. That's a lot to assume. Like, we're talking about several rounds. Yeah, getting to the game would be nice. Josh Allen also hasn't gotten to the game. It's why it's held against him. Winning a Super Bowl is another discussion entirely, but he was several steps away from that, even if you give him that catch.
People don't like it. I've argued this with Mina Kimes on this show and elsewhere many times, and it all amounts to, and I get where people are coming from with the advanced analytics, but what it adds up to is diminishing those singular moments. And you can say it's not fair for an entire career to boil down to a handful of plays. That's like Babe Zaslow said a couple of minutes ago. That's sports, man. That's the whole point. The things that will resonate in a quarter century or a century from now are those singular moments. You know, you may not like the fact that Bobby Thompson, if you were a Dodgers fan that day, you may not like that Bobby Thompson hit that home run when he did back in 51, but he hit that home run, and that's why we know who Bobby Thompson is now. You have to come through in big spots for your name to loom over the generations to come. That's how it works, everybody. I'm sorry, Kyle Van Noy.
Chris, if I can steer our attention real quick here to baseball, what are the Dodgers upset about with Shohei Ohtani?
Well, it's not just Dodgers. Other teams are saying that Ohtani is getting special treatment because there's, I don't know what the exact, is it 2 minutes? In between every inning, you have X amount of time to get it back in the dugout, get back out to the field. The pitcher has to be warmed up. And there are times when Ohtani's on base that it takes them a little longer because no other pitcher these days is having to do that. Every other pitcher is just sitting in the dugout with their glove. So teams are complaining.
Although this was probably an issue, every now and then when there wasn't a DH in the National League.
But there wasn't a time limit then. So It's just a different situation. And teams are complaining to the Dodgers that their umpires are giving them a little too much time. And now we have sound here of Dave Roberts. He's defending Ohtani, saying he actually deserves special treatment.
You know what? I think just talking about the World Series, obviously they were a little frustrated about, how long Shohei takes, in between innings. But if he's on the bases, there's got to be some grace, which I think the umpires are trying to give him. But, yeah, I mean, if you're on the other side, you're trying to rush him as much as possible and treat him like any other pitcher. But, the truth is that he's different. And so, but I understand their gripe.
Does he deserve grace, Dave Damashek? Which parking garage do you park in?
One of the great ironies of sports conversation, rolling conversations, is that we all want to be able to rightly assert, we're watching the best in the history of. Contextualize the players and teams we're watching right now and how they compare with those of the past. And we love to do that and make our case for it. We're watching the greatest baseball player of all time, And this is what we're talking about, is griping about, like, yeah, he takes too long to take his pads off and to get back out there on the hump. This is where we are. We have to tear down these things instead of celebrating this. Ohtani is the greatest player in the history of people. We should rejoice about that and lean into it instead of like, man, he's taking too long.
I would be okay with an extra 30 if they make a rule. For the Ohtanis and anybody else that decides they're going to pitch and hit in this era.
Well, like how much more time has he been getting? What are we talking about?
No, I think it's 2 minutes and they're just kind of not being super strict with it. And you have on deck batters being like, "Hey, the time's up. Why haven't we started this inning?"
But are the other teams purposely trying to rush because
I think now they are realizing that, like, why are we giving him this grace?
They
But
should.
Dave Roberts says he deserves the grace. So really this is a grace off. Does he deserve grace?
I'm with Dave. He deserves the grace because he's doing something we haven't seen. It seems hard to do.
We got one vote for grace.
Yeah.
Tony, grace or no grace?
Everyone deserves grace.
I'm going no grace. Like, if you're going to play both sides, play within the rules.
I mean, someone could go out to him with his glove. Like a bat boy can help him speed it up. When he's on second base, you rush out with his glove so he doesn't have to come all the way back.
Well, remember in
to the
Little
dugout.
League when you were the catcher and you were on base, didn't someone bring your
speed up rule?
Yeah. Well, didn't they bring like your shin guards and you would wear the shin guards on the bases, right?
No, you wouldn't wear them on the bases. You'd wear them on the index circle so that if the third out happens, you're
yes.
halfway dressed.
Yes,
and then they would take them off on the on-deck circle.
Yes.
That's a funny visual, though, of them.
I mean, for real, Manfred should weigh in here. And I mean, it's so completely arbitrary. And the fact that we're talking about a 2-minute stopwatch on the transition between innings and all of that is, like I say, completely arbitrary. So Manfred should step in and accommodate the star of his sport. Ohtani is the number one reason why baseball is making strides at catching up with pro basketball a little bit more than any other, I would say. So I would say, to the grace point, give your greatest star a little bit of grace there, Manfred. And from the commissioner's office, say, okay, guess what? We're making it 2.5 minutes now.
Playing Little League catcher sucked. I played a couple games of Little League catcher, and I was like,
no, I liked
I
it.
hate this.
You were involved. You got to catch the ball every
my knees would
pitch.
hurt.
My knees would kill
Oh,
me,
my
and I
knees
was a
hurt.
bigger kid, so I was like, man, this.
No, I liked
I have
it.
to go all the way down here, and like I hated it. And then the pitchers were never that good, so you're trying to catch the ball all over
That's
the
true.
place, and you're like, oh, hey. Ball would go through the legs. Like,
I
hated
mostly
playing
played
catcher.
third base, but sometimes I played catcher. I liked catcher.
Hot corner?
If you were playing catcher, you could get the speed up rule where you get on base. If there's 2 outs, they just put in a runner for you, and you get to go back in the dugout.
No, but you want to run the bases. The most fun part
the
of
whole
playing
point.
baseball.
Yeah, but usually it's the most fun. I would disagree with that.
Absolutely.
The
Running the
most
bases
fun-
is the most fun.
I would say hitting is more fun. Pitching is more fun.
No, hitting's hard as hell. Running the bases is just fun.
I just love the idea of like, whee! Like,
Yeah.
you're just running. Like,
But you're
most
making
fun.
decisions. Should I leg
Gotta
out this-
slide.
Yeah. Do I slide head first? Do I slide feet first?
If I went to like a Little League team and I'm like, what's your favorite part of this, guys?
Running the
They're all going to
bases.
say hitting, catching. No one's going to say running.
How disappointed are you when you're on first base and the third out is made by a strikeout and you didn't get to run the bases? You worked so hard to hit and get on base. That's the whole point of hitting, is to get on base. And then when you're on base, you don't get to run. That's a disappointment.
You know what no one ever says I'd like to do at the baseball field is I'd like to lord the rules over everybody else and call balls and strikes and who's out and who's safe. What kind of weirdo in this rolling conversation about baseball umpires, and now is the NFL going to have to deal with replacement referees again? And should we be using the graphic to call balls and strikes over human beings and all of that? It ignores the fundamental weirdness of being a human being who decides to be an umpire or referee. What kind of weirdo wants to be in that spot? Not playing the game, and I'm not good enough to play, so instead I am going to lord the rules over those people. What a dork.
My ass is still chapped, by the way. Ric Flair said, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.